he should choose me. Bucky couldn't believe it all. This time, it was Luffy's turn to wonder. Bucky, why didn't I see that you were better than this uncle? Luffy is the guy who beat Bucky away himself. The reason why this Eagle Eye joined the uncle's pirate group is because the uncle defeated him. Luffy said to Bucky at this time. Hearing this, Bucky was a little stunned at this time, and then he laughed. Because it seems to him, how could Yuan defeat Hawkeye? Even if he is not Hawkeye's opponent, Bucky still has a little self-knowledge. Impossible. Even I may not be Hawkeye's opponent. How could Yuan be this Hawkeye's opponent? How could my Bucky be deceived by you? When Bucky said this, he looked like I had seen through all this long ago, and was very proud. It's what he said. I did lose to him, and he is really strong. Hawkeye also sighed at this time, although he lost, but he lost very magnanimously. When he saw Hawkeye talking, Bucky didn't know what to say. Is this Hawkeye fake? Bucky said secretly in his heart. Yuan, how could Hawkeye be defeated by you? I know your strength very well. We have been together for so long. You know that even I can't beat Hawkeye, let alone you. So, this guy must be an imposter. Bucky is very proud at this time. He looks like Bucky is very smart, and it seems that nothing can deceive me. Hearing this, Hawkeye looked at Bucky like he was looking at something. As for Luffy at this time, it was extremely doubtful. Bucky's subordinates like to flatter each other, and when Bucky says this, they immediately flatter Bucky. Captain Bucky is as expected. Captain Bucky is amazing. Seeing this, Yuan didn't know what to say at this time. Seeing Bucky like this, Hawkeye didn't know what to say at this time. Yuan, you must have seen enough of the world, so you were deceived by the other party. I will expose the true face of this liar today. At this time, Bucky vowed to say to Yuan. He really is. Don't worry. Bucky was very confident at this time. Hawkeye didn't know what to say at this time. Since the other party wanted to do this, he would have a good fight with the other party. After saying this, Bucky launched an attack on Hawkeye. Bucky had a few knives in his hand, and then attacked Hawkeye. Hawkeye is directly on the body of the opponent. Bucky has torn apart fruit. When his body was cut, he immediately scattered his body. At this time, Buckina was very proud, because these sharp things had no effect on him, and his body could be torn apart. Seeing this, Hawkeye was also slightly taken aback at this time. His swordsmanship is very fast, cutting Bucky constantly. It feels like chopping vegetables. You're useless to me. Bucky was very proud at this time. But soon, Bucky discovered that his body seemed to have reached the limit of splitting. If the opponent cut it like this, even if he had the torn apart fruit, he would die tragically under the opponent's sword. Stop cutting. Bucky was also in a cold sweat at this time. Seeing this, Yuan at this time also said to Hawkeye, forget it. When Bucky saw this, he breathed a sigh of relief at this time. His face was very pale when he was scared. It was at this time that a voice came to Yuan Ji's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting the torn apart fruit. Yuan was also slightly taken aback at this time. He didn't expect that Bucky had given him 4 wins and 5 cracked fruits. The current Hawkeye is his own crew, so the opponent defeats Bucky and gets Bucky's devil fruit himself. Bucky was injured a lot at this time. He didn't expect such a situation to happen. It was good to teach the other party a good lesson, but now he has been beaten in the face. This made Buckina very embarrassed. Bucky pulled Yuan aside, and said to Yuan quietly, Yuan. This guy seems to be really eagle-eyed, you guys really found a treasure. How did you guys make him your crew member? I naturally defeated the other party, and then the other party agreed to be my crew member. Yuan didn't hide it. For all that Yuan said, Buckina didn't believe it at all. Forget it. The other party must have promised you some important conditions. Bucky at this time, looks like I understand you very well. Soon, Bucky's attention was on Luffy's body. Because this kid beat himself up. Whenever Bucky thought about his tragic experience, he was very angry. Just when Bucky was about to deal with Luffy, his subordinates also hurriedly reported that the White Hunter Smog had returned, and they were now exposed, so they had to leave this place quickly. Bucky is very afraid of the White Hunter Smog, as long as the pirates who dare to come to the place under the jurisdiction of the other party are not caught by this guy. Yuanj, the White Hunter Smog is back, you better get out of here. The other party is very powerful. After saying this, Bucky and his party at this time also left this place immediately. Before leaving, Bucky said aggressively to Luffy in order to restore his dignity, "Luffy. Captain Bucky, will let you go this time. This guy Bucky is really lucky, this guy met Smoker quite by accident." Smog was very upset about his death at this time, and now even these little pirates are running wild on his own territory, which makes him even more upset. "Give me all these pirates." Hearing this, Bucky was frightened and fled everywhere. Bucky quickly escaped. "Bucky, what's wrong with you?" Yuan-J asked curiously. "The Navy is here, run away." 11. Hundreds of Devil Fruits for collection recommendation. After Bucky said that, he ran away. "You pirates, don't even try to escape today," Smoker snarled. But after saying this, Smoker saw some familiar faces. When Smoker saw these people, his face became very ugly. You know, he was humiliated by these people just now, which made him feel very uncomfortable. "What the hell did you do to me?" Smog is still very strong, although he is not the opponent of these people. "Why is my devil fruit power gone?" After saying this, Hawkeye was also very surprised. Because he also discovered the unusualness of Yuanj. Hawkeye is also a well-informed person. Although he did not eat devil fruit, he still knew a lot about devil fruit. But Yuan-J has all kinds of strange abilities, which makes Hawkeye very unbelievable. It stands to reason that the other party cannot have so much ability. Even if there are multiple abilities, it is very similar. The other party stuck to his sword all of a sudden, suddenly flew up, suddenly something made the boat vibrate, and all of a sudden he controlled the water. These abilities are not at all the abilities of a devil fruit, but more like the abilities of multiple devil fruits. Of course, at the beginning, although Hawkeye thought about this, he obviously didn't dare to believe it all. He knew that no one in this world could eat 2 devil fruits, so no one could have the ability to have multiple devil fruits. But now that Smog said this, Hawkeye was more willing to believe his conjecture at this time. Hearing this, Yuan-J knew at this time that such an ability would not be hidden for long. You know, he used to keep a low profile for this reason. But it's different now, he has the strength, and naturally he won't be afraid of this news being known. However, Yuan-J did not tell the other party the truth at this time. Instead, he said to the other party, "Guess yourselves." Yuan-J is not a fool, he tells his enemies about his own affairs. In TV, such people generally do not live long. You. Smog's expression became more and more gloomy. "Do you want to fight? Then I will accompany you at any time, but this time I will not be merciful to you. You know that your strength is not as good as mine, but you come to provoke me, but you are humiliating yourself." Yuan-J was indifferent at this time. Hearing this, Smoker didn't know what to say at this time. Of course, Smog is not a fool, the opponent's strength is unfathomable. Such strength can only be handed over to the future of the Navy. "Don't worry, I won't do any murder or robbery, I'm not interested in those." Yuan-J is not that kind of vicious person. He still appreciates this Smoker very much, because he is not like other navies, he is still very upright. At the same time, in a dark corner, a pair of eyes were watching from a distance. This person is the Revolutionary Army Dragon. He was supposed to visit Luffy. He also knows that Luffy is definitely not Smoker's opponent, and the opponent is likely to be caught by the opponent. However, he did not expect that he would meet Yuan-J here. This guy is amazing. Long also sighed with emotion. Because of the opponent's strength, he can't see through it. However, these people did not have any hostility towards Luffy, so at this time Long did not attack Yuanj. Then, Yuanj swaggered away from this place. As for the others, they have not returned at this time. At this time, there were only Hokage and Yuanj on the boat. Luffy was originally with them, but this guy was attracted by the food, so he went to eat. Why do you use the abilities of multiple devil fruits? Hokage came to the boat and said this. For Hokage, Yuanj didn't hide it at this time. He directly took out the devil fruits in the inventory in his mind. There are a lot of devil fruits, more than 100 of them. When Hokage saw the devil fruit guarding the ground, he only felt that everything was incredible. Because of how many devil fruits I have. Why do you have so many devil fruits? Is that legend related to you? Legend. As long as the pirates who have fought with Roger the Pirate King, if they have the ability, their devil fruit ability will disappear. At that time, some people said that this was a curse from the Pirate King. Of course there are many other theories. It turns out that you caused all this. At this time, even Hokage looked at Yuanj like a monster. You know, Hokage usually has such an expression in it, and this guy can have such an expression, so it can be seen that this incident really surprised him. Yes, I told all this. If you want a devil fruit, pick one yourself. Yuanj said to Hokage at this time. Hokage did not answer the other party's question, but asked, you invite me on board, not like these little guys, go find some One Piece. And you are on the ship of One Piece Roger, you should also know what is hidden there. If my guess is correct, you just want to collect the devil fruits in this world. At this time, Hokage didn't make a fool of himself. Yes, I'm collecting devil fruits. Yuanj also said very frankly at this time. Hearing this, Hokage's face immediately became serious at this time. What is your intention to collect these devil fruits? At this time, Hokage obviously seemed to be questioning. Because the other party obviously has a special reason for this. The world of devil fruits shouldn't exist in the first place. Isn't it? Yuanj said with emotion at this time. Yuanj felt that the system called him to collect devil fruits for this reason. He was more like being sent to collect devil fruits from this world. Hokage didn't answer Yuanj's question. At this time, Yuanj continued, because of the devil fruit, some people in this world have become capable, and they affect the peace of the world. Among the pirates in this world, there are many capable ones. Although the pirates are good evil, but it is undeniable that most pirates are very vicious, they do not take life in their eyes at all, and I guess God will end it all. Yuanj didn't say anything about his system, he just said these things euphemistically at this time. 12. Capture the fruit of the ferret recommended collection. I believe in you, but if you have other goals, I will never spare you. Eagle Eye said to Yuanj at this time. Obviously, this Eagle Eye is also full of justice. This guy may be one of the few pirates who Yuanj said and who still have good and evil in their hearts. Don't worry, if that's the case, you can execute me. Yuanj was very calm at this time. Yuanj was also very hard at this time. Don't you just want to go back, is there such a difficulty? Yuanj asked Hokage to choose a devil fruit, but Hokage did not choose a devil fruit. Eagle Eye still agrees with what Yuanj said, because devil fruit should never exist in this world. As for the others, they came back one after another. Then they set off again. They all gained a lot, and they were very happy. Did you know, Uncle used to stay on the ship of Roger, the Pirate King. At this time, Luffy didn't think it was a big deal at all, and directly told what happened just now. Hearing this, other people looked at Yuanj in surprise at this time. Because they didn't expect that this guy in front of him actually has such an identity. Uncle, you turned out to be on Roger's ship. Do you know if the One Piece exists? Usopp immediately asked. Of course Yuanj knows One Piece. He exists. Yuanj said very calmly at this time. After hearing such an answer, the other people were very excited, because they started this voyage because of One Piece. That uncle, do you know where One Piece is? Usopp asked very excitedly at this time. Hearing this, Luffy was very dissatisfied at this time. Because in Luffy's view, if he knew in advance, then this airmail would be meaningless. Therefore, Luffy's face immediately became serious, which was completely different from his usual giggling with clothes inside. Usopp, don't worry too much. We must find this One Piece by ourselves. If we know it, what's the point? Uncle is not our companion now, he will naturally take us there. Usopp retorted at this time. Hearing this, everyone else looked at Yuan-Jay at this time. Yuan-Jay thought about it for a while, and then said to these people, if we get the boat, we will naturally leave. Yuan-Jay has already made his plan. There is no need for him to follow these people to the New World to find One Piece, those are no longer important to him. All he has to do is collect devil fruits. The reason why Yuan-Jay is following these people now is because he doesn't even have a boat now, and there are no navigators in his family, so Yuan-Jay just got on Luffy's boat. After hearing such a news, other people couldn't help but be a little disappointed. Because in their opinion, the uncle in front of him is still very friendly. Uncle, you'll be fine with us, I won't mind. Luffy felt that what he said just now might have hurt Yuan-Jay, so he also said to Yuan-Jay at this time. It's okay, I already have my own plans, and the new route is still up to you young people to conquer. Yuan-Jay replied. After hearing Yuan-Jay's words, Luffy didn't hold back. As for Usopp, he did not ask the whereabouts of One Piece. Then, the top of the boat returned to its previous appearance. Seeing these people look like this, Yuan-Jay's heart was also filled with emotion at this time. It's nice to be young. Of course, these people have not less inquired about the things on Roger's ship. Luffy is very related to Shanks. Hawkeye is also very concerned about Shanks, because his relationship with Shanks is also very good. At this time, Yuan-Jay didn't hide it, and told these people what happened on the One Piece ship. These people are very happy at this time. Just like that, they chatted happily. At this time, Yuan-Jay also has no way to increase the speed. However, at this time, his ship was flying. Then, the boat can fly. Meanwhile, on a boat. When looking at the ship that flew above that day, those people were unbelievable at this time. This is a naval fleet. Report to Mr. Eric. There is a pirate ship flying in the sky. At this time, a navy rushed over in a hurry. How is it possible? How can a ship fly? Eric obviously didn't quite believe the words of this navy at this time. There really is a ship flying in the sky. The other navy at this time exclaimed as if he had met a ghost. Hearing this, Eric also came out curiously at this time. Then I really found a pirate ship flying in the sky. Originally, Yuan-Jay didn't pay too much attention to the Nashi ships below. But soon, Yuan-Jay saw a guy with a pointed head and a very wretched appearance. This guy Yuan-Jay knows. He is Eric, the ferret fruit capable. After seeing this Eric, Yuan-Jay immediately became interested in him. He wants to collect all the devil fruits, so Yuan-Jay at this time can't even drop a devil fruit. Therefore, at this time, Yuan-Jay dropped the boat. As for the other people, Yevon was fine, because the boat fell down suddenly, and they were also very puzzled. When Usopp saw the surrounding scene, Usopp immediately shouted. Navy! Surrounded by navy! Seeing such a scene, Usopp was quite frightened at this time. Seeing Usopp like this, Yuan-Jay didn't know what to say at this time, because this guy was too timid. When Eric saw this pirate ship falling from Loving You, he immediately became vigilant. Could it be that the secret was known to others? Eric thought to himself. You pirates, I tell you, we are the navy. If you don't want to die, get away. Eric said bluntly. Yuan-Jay didn't say a word, just jumped onto the other party's boat. Seeing this, Eric was also slightly taken aback, and then immediately launched an attack on Yuan-Jie. Eric is still very confident in himself, and he is a devil fruit person. Although he kept slashing towards Yuan-Jie, he did not attack far. After seeing this scene, Eric was also slightly taken aback. Are you also looking for Ji Yulong's whereabouts? Yuan-Jie didn't answer himself, and directly stunned the guy. 13,300 million bounty at the beginning. Of course, the sound of the system sounded again in Yuan-Jie's mind. After knocking this guy out, Yuan-Jie walked towards it at this time. Although Eric was stunned by Yuan-Jie, there were other pirates who stopped him, and Yuan-Jie also stunned the navy. Then Yuan started looking for Abyss, because that was a guy with the fruit of whispering. Yuan wanted to collect all the devil fruits, so he couldn't let go of one. Soon, Yuan found Abyss. When Abyss saw Yuan-Jie, she was also very scared. I know you have the whispering fruit. If you give me the whispering fruit, I will bring that ancient dragon back to his dragon cave. Yuan-Jie said directly at this time. Hearing this, Abyss was very frightened. I know you may think I'm lying to you. I also know that the ancient dragon is in the cave above the mountain. I won't let Lord Long be taken away. Although Abyss was very scared at this time, she said this to Yuan-Jie. For such a little guy, Yuan-Jie really has a headache. If it was otherwise, it would have been a matter of drinking with the other party, but for such a little guy, if Yuan-Jie were to do something with the other party, it would be a bit too inhumane. You believe me, I will definitely take the dragon you mentioned to where it wants to go, and since I know the whereabouts of that dragon, I won't come to you. Yuan-Jie said with a smile at this time. Although Yuan-Jie said he was laughing, he also forced a smile because he usually looked indifferent. Abyss hesitated for a moment, and then agreed. As long as you take the Dragon Lord to where it wants to go, I will agree to your request. Then, Yuan-Jie started to fulfill Abyss' request. They soon came to Abyss' hometown, and then came to that cave. When he saw that dragon, his eagle eye was also slightly taken aback at this time. Yuan knew that the dragon's blood was here on this island, and it would be a few days away. Therefore, Yuan-Jie and the others are constantly waiting here. Waiting for the dragon's cave to appear. When everyone saw Yuan-Jie like this, they were all very puzzled. However, there was a big shake on the island behind. Yuan-Jie knew that the time was right, and then he took this dragon to the dragon cave. When they saw the dragon cave, they looked at Yuan in disbelief one by one. Especially Hokage, because he didn't expect Yuan to know this. This is really amazing. Uncle, you are really amazing. Luffy also praised Yuan-Jie. After they got the dragon back to the dragon's lair, Abyss also fulfilled his promise. Then they started sailing. Bucky and the others are also very lucky to have escaped from the White Hunter. Just when they were lucky, a bird threw down a bounty at this time. They didn't really care about that at first. Captain Bucky, big deal. What's the big deal? Is there such a thing as shouting? Bucky was very dissatisfied with the way this crew member looked. Look at Captain Bucky. Then, the crew member handed the reward order sent by the bird just now. After seeing the reward order, Bucky also sighed. Isn't this that kid from Yuan? I didn't expect this guy to be on the bounty, it's really a big deal. Bucky is still very happy that Yuan can be offered a reward. After all, he considers himself a very friendly relationship with Yuan-Jie. Of course, he didn't take this matter to heart, because Captain Bucky had already received a reward from the Navy. Captain, look at the bounty. 30 million. This guy didn't expect to be taller than me when he came out. Bucky was obviously a little dissatisfied at this time. Because Yuan's strength is weaker than himself, but he didn't expect the bounty to be higher than himself. Captain Bucky, you count again. At this time, the crew member reminded at this time. Bucky then counted again. 1,000,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000. Impossible. I must be wrong. How could there be a reward of hundreds of millions for that guy's strength? and I, Captain Bucky, don't have a reward of hundreds of millions. How can it be that kid's turn? Bucky's intuition at this time is that he counted wrong. Captain, there are really hundreds of millions of bounties, you're right. The crew member reminded at this time. When other people heard this, they also gathered at this time. They were also very curious when they saw this crew member like this. Cabbage, count, what a bounty. Captain Bucky, it's really a bounty of 300 million Baileys. Hearing this, Bucky was stunned for a moment, and then said in surprise, what? This kid actually has a bounty of 300 million Bailey. In this regard, Buckina was very shocked. Because he didn't expect that Yuan Jie, a guy who was weaker than himself, would now have a higher bounty than himself. Bucky just thought it was all a little unreal. Bucky felt very uncomfortable at this time. He also scolded, that group of Navy is really arrogant, and my dignified Captain Bucky only has a bounty of more than 20 million. My Captain Bucky should have a bounty of hundreds of millions, and I am the one who wants to become that man from One Piece, and that One Piece must belong to me, Captain Bucky. That's right, Captain Bucky, you are better than that Yuanj. Yuanj has a bounty of 300 million Baileys, so your strength is far more than the 300 million bounty. At this time, Bucky's crew was flattering at Bucky. Hearing this, Bucky, who was originally angry, was very happy at this time. Because according to this, then he is really a big pirate of hundreds of millions. As for other places, it was also shaken at this time. Because a pirate with such a big bounty suddenly appeared, which surprised the other pirates. Of course, they were also very upset. Because they think the Navy has made the bounty a little too high. In the eyes of these pirates, the bounty is their worth, and the higher the bounty, the more powerful they are. At the same time, on an island, Shanks and his captains were also on vacation at this time. His crew members were also discussing Yuanj at this time. Because this is a big pirate who has appeared recently. I have never heard of such a person before, but this guy came out with 300 million Baileys, which had to attract their attention. And most importantly, Shanks' friend Hawkeye seems to be with each other. This made these guys puzzled, because the eagle-eyed client could compete with their boss, but didn't expect to be the crew of such a guy. Moreover, the story of the restaurant on the sea also spread. 14. The world was shocked. I heard that this guy seems to have defeated Hawkeye. This guy actually defeated Hawkeye. Impossible, even our boss can't defeat Hawkeye. I just heard too. What are you talking about? Seeing what these people were discussing, Shanks also asked curiously at this time. Boss, a new guy has appeared recently, and the Navy's reward for him is 300 million Baileys at once. Hearing this, Shanks was also very interested. Interesting. Shanks is very interested in this kind of thing. I can't help it. It is said that this guy also defeated Hawkeye. When Shanks heard this, he was surprised. Because he didn't expect that someone would defeat Hawkeye. You must know that even it is difficult for him to defeat Hawkeye. In Shanks' opinion, Hawkeye has the same strength as him, but this guy is willing to become Chihuahua. Who the hell is this guy? Shanks also became extremely restless at this time. Because this guy is sure to be too rival in the future. It seems to be called Yuanj. Yuanj. Yes, now Hawkeye is on this guy's crew. Hearing this, Shanks immediately burst out laughing. Seeing Shanks like this, Jesus Cloth at this time also asked curiously, Shanks, do you know this guy? That's right, this guy didn't look like a mountain before, I didn't expect this guy to be so powerful. Shanks couldn't help but sigh at this time. Shanks knew that after Yuanj finished brewing, he asked other people for advice. Do you remember when I said that there was a very good winemaker? Could it be this person? Jesus B.U. knew that Shanks told these people before that he would definitely let them taste the best wine in the world in the future. That's right, when I was an intern on the One Piece ship, this guy was the winemaker on the One Piece ship, and the wine this guy brewed was very good. This guy didn't like fighting before, But this guy one day it became very strange, and then began to find other people to learn various battles, including domineering. Shanks recalled at this time. Because this guy is very good at brewing, so the people on the pirate ship are very willing to teach each other, and the other party's treatment on the ship is much better than that of me and Bucky. Although the other party has learned a lot, but I never saw the opponent fight. He said he didn't like fighting, and the people on the boat didn't force him. Because the wine he brewed was so good. I didn't expect that the other party has also come out now, and the other party's strength is so powerful. Shanks also sighed at this time. Shanks, what kind of strength is he? He should have defeated Hawkeye. This rumor should be true. Otherwise, Hawkeye wouldn't be willing to serve as a crew member. Shanks analyzed at this time. When those people heard what Shanks said, their eyes widened one by one. Because they didn't expect that this guy was so powerful, they just couldn't imagine it. They began to think that the bounty was too much for this guy, but now that Shanks said this, they felt that the bounty was far from enough. Because this guy must have the strength of 4 emperors. You must know that the 4 emperors of them all have a bounty of 4 billion, and the other party is only 300 million. Boss, do you think the other party will be your opponent? At this time, a crew member was very curious and asked. Hearing this, Shanks smiled bitterly at this time. The Hawkeye guy is not the opponent's opponent. Do you think I can defeat Hawkeye? The other people, Shanks, didn't speak anymore. They all know that Shanks and Hawkeye fought a battle. Although they don't know the final result, they know that even if their boss wins, it is probably a narrow victory. The other side will defeat Hawkeye. Obviously, the opponent's strength is likely to be more powerful than their boss. I think I'm probably not the opponent's opponent. I guess only the guy with the white beard is this guy's opponent. Shanks sighed at this time. Hearing this, these people felt a trace of loss in their hearts at this time. Ha ha, what are you all doing like this? Shanks said with a sullen smile while laughing. The other party has a very good relationship with me. The other party should not come to trouble us, we should be happy. Although Shanks explained at this time, they couldn't be happy. As for Yuan Jie and the others, they did not receive the reward. Moreover, in the bounty offered this time, none of Luffy and his party got the bounty, because Yuan Jie blocked all their light. Originally, these were the guys that Luffy should deal with, but Yuan Jie waved his hand and solved these guys. This is completely without Luffy and the others. Of course, when Yuan Jie was free, he also taught Zoro's swordsmanship, and taught these guys to be domineering. Yuan Jie also thought about his future plans, because they couldn't stay on Luffy's boat all the time. He finally wants a pirate ship of his own. After all, Luffy and the others have different goals. Luffy and the others are going to reach the end of the new route, looking for One Piece, and they are going to collect all the devil fruits at this time. Yuan Jie had already planned that after arriving at the empty island, the golden ship would be their ship in the future. Now that I have chosen to be high profile, I will be high profile to the end. Therefore, Yuan Jie felt that after the empty island, he was separated from these people. Of course, at this time, Yuan Jie began to think that he was looking for a team of partners. Yuan Jie naturally needs to find reliable partners, and of course his strength must be very strong. However, Yuan Jie didn't think of a few such guys. Later, Yuan Jie felt that Crocodile seemed to be fine, although this guy's character was not good, but Yuan Jie couldn't control so much at this time. Now these capable guys are basically divided by other forces, and it is difficult to find strong ones. The speed of Yuan Jie and his group was very fast. Yuan Jie used the ability of the fluttering fruit, and also used the ability of the shaking fruit. Of course, he can't have 2 abilities at the same time, he is constantly switching between these 2 kinds of fruits. This makes him seem to have the abilities of 2 devil fruits. Look at the rush of the water below. If we hadn't been flying, we wouldn't have been able to fly so smoothly. Thanks to Uncle. Usopp looked at the scenery under the boat at this time, and he couldn't help sighing at this time. After being said that by the other party, Yuan-Jay also looked down at this time. He was the one who followed Nami's instructions and didn't look at the ones below. When looking at the scenery below, Yuan-Jay realized that they had reached the Red Continent and had already left the range of the East China Sea at a loss. I didn't expect that we are about to leave the East China Sea. Yuan-Jay also couldn't help sighing. Soon, they crossed the Red Continent. Look at what that is. Luffy said at this time. 15. Capture the Tuntun fruit. Recommendation. He pointed to a guy below who looked like a black stone blocking the channel. After Yuan-Jay saw that thing, Yuan-Jay thought of the ship doctor at this time. Because this guy is Rab. Yuan-Jay thought it was time to see an old friend. Karax had stayed on the pirate ship before, although he didn't stay for a long time, but Yuan-Jay got along with each other very happily. Winemakers like Yuan-Jay are very popular among pirates, because most of the people on the pirate ship are alcoholics. For a superb winemaker like Yuan-Jay, they naturally do not want to offend. At this time, Yuan-Jay's boat was approaching the lab. When they got close, they discovered that it was actually a whale, which was beyond their expectations. However, at this moment, the whale suddenly opened its mouth and ate their boat. Seeing such a scene, Usopp was so frightened that he almost lost his soul. However, at this time, Usopp discovered that they actually drove towards the belly of the whale. That uncle, what are you doing? Usopp was very puzzled at this time. Because in Usopp's point of view, Yuan-Jay was completely escaping from the whale's mouth, but this guy drilled into the other's mouth. But soon, they came to another world. When looking at the world inside, even Eagle Eye is a bit incredible. Because he didn't expect it again, there is something special in the belly of this whale. At this time, a giant squid came out from under the water. At this time, Yuan-Jay took the knife directly from Zoro's waist, and then it was the brilliant knife technique. Next, he floated all the cut giant squid in the air. Sanji, make a good meal later. Sanji was also very excited when he saw such ingredients. Because their speed is too fast, Sanji has not shown his skills in front of Nami. At this time, an old man suddenly ran out of a house on the island. As soon as the old man came out, he yelled at these people, "You guys, come to my vacation center, don't tell me, and now the prey has been taken away. You'd better take out my prey obediently." Karax threatened at this time. "Crocs, long time no see," Yuan-Jay said to the other party at this time. Hearing this, Crocs was also slightly taken aback at this time. "You are? I am Yuan-Jay. Yuan-Jay. I didn't think it was you kid." Karax was also very happy to see Yuan-Jay. "Why did you come to this place, brat?" Karax said in a puzzled way. "I want to build the strongest pirate team." Then, Yuan-Jay chatted with Karax. "As for those people, I learned later that the old man in front of me was actually a ship doctor on the One Piece ship." After Yuan-Jay and Karax chatted for a while, Rab started hitting the Red Continent every day. Yuan-Jay knows the plot, so he knows how to deal with Rabu. After Rab was cured, they left the place. They didn't meet Wei Wei, probably because these people came a little early. Before leaving, Karax suggested that they find a ship doctor. Without a ship doctor, it would be very difficult to travel on the sea for a long time. Hearing this, Luffy immediately extended an olive branch to Karax. Karax obviously rejected this because he was already in his 70s. However, he suggested that these people go to the Drum Country, because the medical treatment there is very developed. Yuan-Jay had this intention, and then they set off towards the magnetic Drum Country. This route is very difficult to navigate because of the magnetic field. But they finally came to the Drum Country. Yuan-Jay had long planned to come back to the Drum Country, because there were 3 devil fruits here. One is the fruit of the animal system, one is the fruit of human beings, and the other is the devoured fruit of Valbo. He wants to collect all the devil fruits. These devil fruits he knows, of course he can't let go. That's why he wants to follow Luffy's group. Because Yuan Jie knew the plot, he wanted to collect all the devil fruits he knew. In the process, they went to the base of Novelot's studio. Yuan Jie originally thought that there would be something to gain in that place, but he did not expect that in that place, he did not even receive a devil fruit. Yuan Jie also knows that it is estimated that their time is too early, so it does not match the original plot. Yuan Jie didn't stop at this place to wait either. Because these people will go to Yudu sooner or later. When the time comes to find Killer Crocodile, those people will not be able to escape alone. Therefore, Yuan Jie was so relieved to go to the Drum Country. After Yuan Jie came to the Drum Kingdom, he first knocked out the guard Captain Dalton, and then obtained the opponent's devil fruit. But Yuan Jie didn't realize that he thought he was the king of the Drum Country. This made Yuan Jie fly around the sea alone in the middle of the night. However, Yuan Jie still met the king of the Drum Country, and then Yuan Jie beat him up. But when he came, Yuan Jie realized that he was lost. This made Yuan Jie feel extremely depressed. At this time, Yuan Jie was floating on the sea, like a lonely ghost. If I had known it earlier, I would have brought a permanent pointer, and asked Navarpo's men to send it back alive. Yuan Jie floated on the sea, and then said angrily. However, Yuan Jie saw a boat on the sea. And that Yuan Jie knows him, this guy is Ace. Then, Yuan Jie immediately flew to his boat. Ace was obviously sleeping at this time. This guy is also a guy who likes to sleep very much. However, when Yuan Jie came, he also woke up very alert. When Ace saw Yuan Jie, there was nothing bad. How did you get on my boat, uncle? I'm floating over, I'm lost on this sea. Yuan Jie said to Ace at this time. Uncle, how can you float? I ate a devil fruit. And you should be Ace. Luffy's brother. They are in Drum Country now. Yuan Jie said to Ace at this time. 16. Kidnapping Chopper Recommendation, Monthly Pass. When Yuan Jie said this, Ace's eyes became sharp. How do you know they're in Drum Country? I'm staying on their boat. With them, just out for a little errand. Yuan Jie said to Ace at this time. Are you that Yuan Jie? Ace said suspiciously at this time. Yes, I am. Yuan Jie did not expect that this Ace actually knew him. Dad said that the wine you brewed is very delicious. Daddy said that if I meet you, bring a few bottles of wine back to drink. Ace said to Yuan Jie at this time. Obviously, the guy with the white beard told his story. Yuan Jie did not expect that his fame would be so great. Then, Yuan Jie and Ace set off towards the Drum Country. The next day, when Yuan Jie, Ace, and Luffy appeared in front of Luffy at the same time, Luffy was really surprised. Ace, why are you here? Hearing this, the other people were also very surprised, but they had already met a guy like Yuan Jie who surprised them, so they weren't so surprised. Luffy, how did you know Fire Fist Ace? Nami asked curiously at this time. He's my brother. When the other people heard the news, they were all very surprised. Because they didn't expect that there was such a relationship between Ace and Luffy. Ace was also very surprised when he saw Hawkeye. Hawkeye's strength was very powerful. When he learned later that Hawkeye was Yuan Jie's crew, Ace was very surprised. Hawkeye's strength is very powerful, and the other party is Chihuahua, and now he is willing to be his crew member. Later, after Luffy and the others heard that there was no doctor in the Drum Country, they couldn't help but feel very sorry, because he wanted to find a ship doctor. Then, these people left this place. But Yuan Jie kidnapped Chopper directly when he didn't know it. All that was left for Kurha was a note. The next day they woke up, and soon they found Chopper arrested. Uncle, where did you catch this civet cat? I happen to be hungry too, I have never eaten this civet cat meat. Luffy looked at Chopper lying on the ground at this time. This guy really drooled. Of course, it's not the kind of saliva left by the flower girl, this guy is greedy. Sanji, I'm about to cook this tanuki. At this time, Luffy urged Sanji for a while. Chopper was woken up quickly, and when he saw these guys, he was also very scared. Why am I in this place? Who the hell are you? Chopper looked very scared at this time. Hey, I didn't expect this civet cat to say yes, then I won't eat this civet cat. Luffy was very surprised to see that Chopper could speak at this time. I guess it's not a civet cat. I'm a reindeer. He was very angry about these guys calling him a civet cat, because he is a good man, and he still has 2 horns on his head, okay. But soon, Chopper thought that these people would eat themselves. Chopper was originally very timid. When he learned that these people were going to eat him, Chopper immediately burst into tears. Dali Niang, where are you? Come and save me. What this reindeer friend means. I'm not going to eat it. Luffy said at this time. Yuan Jie was speechless because he didn't say that this guy was caught for you to eat. Soon, the people on the boat were attracted by the talking reindeer. Didn't expect this reindeer to speak human language. Usopp was amazed when he saw the talking reindeer. There's even a civet cat here. I've never cooked such a dish before, I'm going to give it a try. Sanji came over at this time and said. Chopper cried again at this time. This guy didn't eat him just now, but now another guy came to cook him, which made Chopper very scared. Where are you, Duoliniang? Come and save Chopper. Chopper wailed at this time. Seeing this, Sanji's eyes also brightened at this time. He didn't expect that the civet cat in front of him could even speak human words. Others were attracted by the cry. Why is this another civet cat? How can this civet cat speak human words? Why is this guy on our boat? Nami was very curious. Yeah, why is this guy on our boat? Usopp was also very curious about this. Because he didn't expect such a guy to appear on the boat. I caught it, but I didn't catch it for you to eat. At this time, Yuan Jie said very dissatisfiedly, because these people saw such a cute little animal, and they would eat him at any time. You didn't catch him and eat him. Are you going to keep him as a pet? At this time, Nami asked very puzzled. Yuan Jie really didn't know what to say about the idea of these guys. This is the ship doctor I caught. Aren't you the ship doctor? Yuan Jie replied at this time. When these people heard this, it was a little unbelievable at this time. Just this civet cat can also have medical skills. But I'm quite surprised when this guy speaks human words. Sanji obviously didn't believe Yuanji's words. Sanji was very unhappy about the Yuanji in front of him. Because this guy didn't agree, he was directly kidnapped by this guy. Of course, for these, he also dared to be angry, because the opponent's strength was there. Yeah, just this one animal, how can he know medicine? Other people don't believe what Yuan Jie said. Although this guy said he was a reindeer, how could such a guy know medical skills? Even if he knows medicine, he is probably a veterinarian. Although this guy is an animal, but this guy eats the fruit of human beings. This fake's medical skills are very superb. If it weren't for you, give it a try. Yuan Jie was humane to them at this time. But after hearing this at this time, it was very embarrassing. This guy just can't help the compliments of others. 17. The Battle of the Green Pheasant. I'm actually not as good as you say. Chopper said a little embarrassedly at this time. He was praised by Yuan Jie, and his cowardice towards these guys just now disappeared. Seeing the other party like this, at this time, these people are even more disbelieving. However, this guy is also very cute, so they did not drive Chopper down. Yuan Jie then loosened Chopper's rope. At this time, Chopper was obviously still very afraid of these people. Therefore, he is also very timid. Luffy was very curious about Chopper, and they took Chopper to play with other things and eat all kinds of good things. This made Chopper gradually lose his timidity towards these people. After Chopper knew that it was a pirate ship, he was shocked again. These people were very friendly to him, which made Chopper gradually lose his grudge against him. Of course, these guys didn't regard this guy as a doctor of clothing moths. Even if it was a doctor, in the eyes of these people, it was a veterinarian. Yuan-Jie didn't pay too much attention to these at this time. They were still on their way at the same speed as before. They passed the small garden behind them. Then, Sanji is going to get some ingredients here. However, at this time, they saw a man with a bicycle on the sea. Look, you are riding a bicycle on the sea all by yourself. Usopp exclaimed. Usopp was very envious of this. It's amazing. It's so cool. At this time, Luffy's envious eyes almost popped out. But at this time, the expressions on Hawkeye and Ace's faces were very serious. Did they see who this person was? This person is the Admiral of the Navy, Aokiji. Chingzi was also very confused, because he had also heard about these guys, but he had never met them. If they hadn't fallen from the sky, they would never have encountered this Admiral Aokiji. Of course, Aokiji never thought that these guys were flying directly on it. After seeing them, Aokiji also rode his beloved bicycle and came over here. After seeing Aokiji coming, Ace was very bad. Because this is a naval admiral, his strength is very powerful. If it is dealt with, it is very difficult to deal with. Because watching the two in Ace, Yuan-Jie may not be Aokiji's opponent. Because the bounty says that Yuan has only 300 million Baileys, and he has 550 million Baileys, so his strength is logically stronger than the opponent. Ace never imagined that the strength of this Yuan could not be measured by these bounties. Although Whitebeard knew that Yuan-Jie was on the ship of One Piece Roger, he didn't know that Yuan-Jie was actually a very terrifying person, but this guy used to be very low-key. Aokiji rode his bicycle slowly and leisurely. Ace, why are you acting like this? Luffy obviously doesn't know who the Aokiji is in front of him. Luffy, this guy is Aokiji, one of the 3 naval admirals. At this time, Ace also reminded. Admiral, what is that? Hearing this, the others were also very speechless. Because this guy keeps saying that he wants to become One Piece, but this guy doesn't even know what it is an admiral. Aokiji didn't pay too much attention to these. It's you who killed Colonel Mouse. Aokiji said in a very bad tone at this time. That's right, it's me. That thing colluded with pirates and oppressed civilians, so I killed the Navy. Are you going to thank me? Yuan-Jie knew that the other party must be the one who found fault with Ali, so naturally Yuan-Jie would not be nice to him at this time. You pirates are the scourge that our Navy should get rid of. At this time, Aokiji was very angry. He usually doesn't lose his temper, but this person in front of them actually beheaded their Navy colonel in front of their Navy, which is simply a blatant provocation to their Navy. Because, at this time, the green pheasant will be so angry. Okay, come and get rid of me if you can. Seeing the other party like this, Yuan-Jie certainly wouldn't give the other party a good look. Moreover, Yuan-Jie has not said angrily, with your strength, what ability do you have to pull in front of me? Then if you have the ability, give it a try. Just try it. Since the other party is going to deal with him, Yuan-Jie will naturally not make the other party feel better. Since he chose a high profile, Yuan-Jie felt that he would have to be high profile all the way to the end. Yuan-Jie, you are crazy. He is an admiral of the Navy, and he is not ordinary. Ace said in a sullen mood at this time. Because in Ace's view, Yuan-Jie is not the opponent of the Admiral Aokiji in front of him. It's just a Navy admiral, even if the warring states came over, I'm not afraid. Yuan-Jie obviously didn't take this green pheasant into his eyes at this time. The reason why he is like this is also because he has such a strength. Seeing this, Ace was very anxious at this time, because this uncle was obviously his father's friend, so he couldn't watch the other party die in the hands of Aokiji. Seeing Ace like this, Luffy said to Ace at this time, Ace, don't worry so much, Uncle is very strong, there should be no problem in defeating that admiral. Even though Luffy said that, Ace was still worried. Ace didn't take Luffy's words to heart either. The opponent's strength is indeed very strong, but Aokiji is also very strong. And the things that Luffy and the others encountered before are still some things for Luffy and the others, but they are nothing to Ace. Aokiji was very angry that Yuanj didn't put himself in his eyes. In Aokiji's view, this guy is simply arrogant. In Qingzi's view, these guys from the East China Sea have never seen the world. Who is the weakest pirate in the East China Sea? Don't think that you are the only one who can crush a few pirates with your own strength. I tell you that there are people outside, and I will let you see the world today. Qingzi said to Yuanjie unceremoniously at this time. Hawkeye on the side chose to be silent. If Yuanjie has never seen the world, then there are probably not many people in the world who have seen the world. Because this Yuanj used to be a crew member on One Piece Roger's ship. Although he is a winemaker, he must have seen more of the world than Aokiji. At this time, Hawkeye sighed secretly in his heart. These guys underestimated Yuanj. Yuanji's strength is really not ordinary horror, but very terrifying. Because the other party has so many devil fruits, and the other party can also switch devil fruits. This is enough to make Yuanj invincible. 18. Great War Aokiji 2. But it doesn't matter if this guy has such a monstrous talent, this guy even has 3-color domineering. And the opponent's 3-color domineering is very powerful. From Hawkeye's point of view, even if the opponent does not use domineering, he is not necessarily the opponent's opponent. As for this green pheasant, Hawkeye has also played against each other, and at most they are only partially up and down. It is precisely because Hawkeye knows, so Hawkeye is watching the play as an audience at this time. Seeing this, when Ace saw this Hawkeye like this, he was very unkind. Your captains have already fought with others, why don't you go up and help? That's Admiral Aokiji, your captains are not the opponent's opponent. Ace also didn't put Hawkeye in his eyes, and he didn't even put Whitebeard in his eyes before. And Ace didn't know about the battle between Hawkeye and Shanks. Therefore, Ace only thought that this guy was just an ordinary Shichibukai. He received an invitation from Chiwahai a long time ago, but he rejected it. For these Chiwahai, he is also very contemptuous. To be a pirate is to be a pirate. Why do you still do Shichibukai? This is simply an insult to a pirate. However, the Eagle Eye at this time said to Ace lightly, then you can rest assured that Aokiji is not our captain's opponent. Regarding Hawkeye's words, Ace didn't put his confidence in it at all. Ace also knew that Yuanjie had only stayed on One Piece's ship before, but he was just a winemaker at that time, how strong could he be? Therefore, he is not optimistic that Yuanj can defeat Qingzi. So at this time, he had to go up to help, because Yuanjie was a friend of his father, so he couldn't watch the other party being taken away by Qingzi. Regarding the addition of Ace, Yuanjie didn't say anything at this time, and Aochi didn't say anything. Then, the war was triggered. At this time, Hawkeye's dryness is to keep these guys away from this place. Because this is a duel of masters, and it is still the top group, so the power generated by the battle is not ordinary. If these guys stood a little closer, they would most likely be killed by that U-bow. At this time, Hawkeye acts as a policeman who maintains order. Aokiji used the freezing moment directly at this time. This sea area was directly frozen. After seeing such a scene, Luffy and his party watching from a distance were dumbfounded. Because of the large area, the other party could be frozen. It's really strong and a little scary. Yuanjie did not melt the ice, because in Yuanjie's view, this was still a very good fight. Aokiji then blew a breath at the top of his hand, and then an ice blade appeared on his hand. As for Yuanjie, this time it was with bare hands. At this time, Yuanjie thought secretly in his heart. Since you are here to give away the devil fruit, I, Yuanj, will accept the devil fruit. From Yuanjie's point of view, Qingzi came to arrest him. No doubt, he had come all the way to give him a devil fruit. Because he is very sure to defeat the opponent. When the other party condensed an ice blade, Yuanjie at this time directly used the ability of the shock fruit to directly smash the opponent's ice blade. Seeing this, Aokiji was very surprised on time. Because he didn't expect that the other party is also a devil fruit ability. Are you also a devil fruit person? Aokiji asked. Could it be that if you green pheasants can eat devil fruits, I can't eat devil fruits? Yuan-Jie said in a nonchalant manner. Hearing this, Aokiji snorted coldly. What if you have a devil fruit? You are still not my opponent. Aokiji is also quite confident at this time. Aokiji is also not the same as it used to be. He was very angry at this time, because the guy in front of him was simply provoking the Navy, and the above must not show mercy to such a guy and find the face of the Navy. Aokiji then condensed a more condensed ice, but it was still shattered by Yuanji's shaking fruit. However, the green pheasant at this time condensed the broken ice. At this time, Yuan-Jie shattered the opponent's ice. However, the ice at this time was not broken, because at this time Qingzi was at a stalemate with Yuan-Jie. Yuan-Jie used a strong vibration to shatter the ice blade in the opponent's hand, but Qingzi did not let the ice blade be shattered by the opponent. In this way, the two have been in a stalemate. Although Yuan-Jie is very powerful, his devil fruit development level is still not as high as that of Aokiji. But in the face of his powerful strength, the competition between devil fruits is also partly up and down. When Qingzi saw this, he also knew that he probably underestimated the other party. Because the other party is obviously no different from himself, and the other party's devil fruit is also very powerful. What kind of devil fruit are you? Aokiji asked curiously at this time. Why should I tell you? Yuan-Jie was very upset when he saw the other party. Of course, Yuan-Jie is also very puzzled. This green pheasant should not be like this. This should be what a kainu should be like. This guy must be eating spring medicine. Mine is frozen fruit. What fruit is yours? Yuan-Jie was very speechless when he heard this, because the ability of this guy can be seen by just one person. Isn't your fruit obvious? You told me and I wouldn't tell you. Yuan-Jie said in a nonchalant manner. Of course, Yuan-Jie would not say this at this time. Because Ace is still here at this time. Although Yuan-Jie is very powerful, he still doesn't want to tear his face with Whitebeard. I am strong, and if I am surrounded and beaten by those from the Whitebeard pirates, then I am not an opponent at all. He may be invincible in a duel, but what can he do if he is besieged? Others don't necessarily have to be singled out with you. Your devil fruit has something to do with vibration. Yuan-Jie did not answer what the other party said. At this time, Yuan-Jie knew that it would be difficult for him to win or lose if he faced off like this. Therefore, at this time, Yuan-Jie chose to fight in close quarters. Aokiji thought so too. As for Ace, he was going to help at this time, but when the two scuffled once, he couldn't get involved at this time. Because his flame is a range attack, the two are so close. If it is a range attack, it will be a disservice. Ace originally wanted to ask Yuan-Jie to step down and let himself come. But at this time, Ace found that Yuan-Jie and Qingzi did not lose the battle, but instead had the upper hand. Is this guy really strong? At this time, Ace said suspiciously. He learned from his father that this guy is just a winemaker, and his combat power is also very weak. Now Ace began to wonder if the one in front of him was talking to his father. 19. Momo Fruit. Yuan-Jie did not switch out of date at this time, he used bursts of outdated power at this time. Yuan-Jie is also very unfortunate at this time. If he has a devil fruit with the flame attribute, then he can completely hang the opponent and fight. Ace's burnt fruit, and that hot fruit, and rockberry fruit. But he doesn't have any such fruit now. Although he has many devil fruits, most of them are devil fruits whose fruit ability is too weak. Although Yuan-Jie does not have the fruit of the flame attribute, at this time Yuan-Jie still has the upper hand. This shocking fruit of his own has a certain suppressing effect on the opponent's Hongxi Lake. When the other party's ice vine wanted to erode on his body, he was shattered by Yuan-Jie. Yuan-Jie also used the evil dragon to fight against the green pheasant, and he was not afraid of the ice erosion of the green pheasant. As the battle progressed, Qingzi also knew that he had underestimated the guy in front of him, and the opponent's strength was very powerful. Even by himself, it is very difficult to overcome. No wonder you have arrogant capital, Aokiji said with a serious look on his face at this time. Yuan-Jie was too lazy to beat with each other. Now Yuan is just one word, do it. If there is one more word, it is, fuck him. At this time, Yuan-Jie was full of domineering. Although his domineering arrogance did not have a deterrent effect on the opponent, it also had a certain impact on Aokiji. But the domineering of Yuan-Jie's armed color is not good for Aokiji. Because his devil fruit ability was used to deal with the opponent, he obviously suffered a lot. Aokiji didn't expect that the other party would be so powerful. This is completely beyond my expectations. As for Ace, it was a bit confusing at this time. Because he didn't expect that the other party had three-color domineering, and this domineering was so powerful, he knew at this time, and he would never dare to underestimate this person. Although the other party's bounty is only 300 million Bailey, the other party's strength is far more than that. Qingzi has been pressed and beaten by Yuanj, which makes Yuanj feel very aggrieved. Although he has the upper hand, Yuan-Jie feels very hard. At this time, he wanted to directly hang and beat the green pheasant. However, they have such fruit, otherwise, they can really hang and beat the green pheasant. Their battle was fierce. Two giants in this small garden were quickly attracted. What's the situation? Is someone fighting? Why is there such a big movement? Then, they walked over curiously. After Aang saw the two giants, the others were also taken aback. Because this is still a fight. The power of this big fight is unusual, it just feels like the ground is shaking. Although the ground shook when they fought. But the main reason is that they make the earth tremble because of their heavy weight. Braki, I didn't expect that although our strengths are equal, compared to the two of them, it is far worse. These two guys talk like thunder. Usopp's frightened soul was almost lost. Because these two giants are so big, these two guys can crush them with one foot. As for Luffy, at this time he was not afraid at all, he stretched his arms and ran over to the giant to see. Because from Luffy's point of view, if you watch the battle like that, you will see it more clearly. As for the giant, Emmy didn't care, but asked Luffy about the news about the two people in front of him. They don't know much about the news of Aokiji, but they still know the news about Yuanj Luffy very well. Therefore, Luffy told the information of Yuanj to the two giants. When they heard that Yuan-Jie was a winemaker, they were very happy. Because these two guys are also alcoholics. Later, they learned that Yuan-Jie was actually a winemaker on the ship of One Piece Roger, which made them start cheering for Yuan-Jie. The two of them fought in this place for 100 years. But they knew One Piece, who was an amazing being. These guys started cheerleading. Because the giant's voice is very loud, the voice of one of them feels like the voice of dozens of people. Yuan-Jie still scuffles with Qingzi. Yuan-Jie didn't expect that this green pheasant was so difficult to deal with, and the other party felt like a turtle. Every time Yuan-Jie hit the other party's ice cubes. Although Yuan-Jie has always had the upper hand, Yuan-Jie did not seriously hurt the opponent's hand, and the opponent's ice block resisted his attack. Hawkeye, give me that sword and I will cut off the other's turtle shell. Yuan-Jie said to Hawkeye at this time. Eagle Eye heard this, and then gave Yuan-Jie his sword. After Yuan-Jie took the sword, he started to slash Aokiji. Although he had this sword, it did not pose a great threat to Aokiji. Yuan-Jie knew that if he wanted to win the opponent without taking a lot of damage, he would definitely have to use the power of the devil fruit. However, at this time, Yuanj didn't know what kind of devil fruit to use. Yuan-Jie didn't want to lose both sides of the fight with the opponent, it was not worth it. Later, Yuanj saw a devil fruit, a Momo fruit. Just this devil fruit. These devil fruits are not known for many times in the system column of Yuanj. Because the people he faced before simply couldn't use the power of the Devil Fruit Institute. The only place he used devil fruits before was to exchange them for money. After seeing this devil fruit, Yuan-Jie remembered the function of this devil fruit. This devil fruit was alive when Wald fought One Piece. This Momo fruit can increase the size and speed of the objects you touch by hundreds of times, and it can also increase your speed. At this time, Yuan-Jie directly applied this to his own sword. The speed of Yuan-Jie's use of the sword was originally very fast, and now with the ability of Momo fruit, Yuan-Jie's speed is basically difficult to see with the naked eye. Seeing this, Hawkeye's eyes widened suddenly at this time. Because Du Fei's speed was simply too fast, he could hardly see clearly. Is this the real strength of this guy? Hawkeye murmured at this time. If this is the case, then he is not the opponent's opponent at all. The world's swordsmanship is fast and unbreakable, such a sword is really terrifying. This devil fruit is so powerful, why hasn't it been used before? It was only at this time that Yuan-Jie discovered that this devil fruit was very suitable for him. After using this devil fruit, Yuan-Jie began to brutalize Aokiji. That's right, this time is the maddening Aokiji. Yuan-Jie's speed was too fast. Even if Qingzi wanted to use those ice cubes to block his attack, the other party was a little tired of dealing with it. At this time, Yuan slashed at the green pheasant, even if the green pheasant blocked it with ice, but this sort of Yuan was the Buddha to block and kill the Buddha, and the magic to block and kill the devil. Then, Yuan-Jie directly used the last blow, ready to completely defeat Qingzi. Aokiji saw this at this time, and immediately made a shield with ice to defend against the opponent's attack. Give me big. Yuan-Jie roared angrily at this time, and then the sword in his hand became so much bigger at this time that it was funny. Then Yuan-Jie took such a sword and chopped off the opponent's shield. As for Qingzi, because Yuan-Jie's blow was too destructive, Qingzi was directly spitting blood. In fact, the time has not passed very long. So the other people's eyes widened one by one at this time, because Yuan-Jie's strength is really too terrifying. Especially Ace, he originally wanted to help the other party, but at this time the other party had already defeated Aokiji. Especially when she said Yuan so eloquently before, these shoes are a complete slap in the face. At the same time, a voice came to Yuan-Jie's mind. Congratulations to the host for defeating Aokiji to get frozen fruit. Yuan-Jie also didn't expect that the devil fruit that came up was not easy to receive. When Aokiji's devil fruit ability disappeared, the ice on the sea immediately melted. Seeing this, Yuan-Jie at this time immediately used the ability of the fluttering fruit, and then made his body float. As for Qingzi, Yuan-Jie also made the other party's body vote up at this time. Because the ice melted, at this time, the carp-shaped Sea King ran out, ready to eat Yuan-Jie. However, at this time, Yuan-Jie used the ability of the fluttering fruit to make this guy float in the air. Then he said to the others, "Today we eat this big guy. This guy has never eaten before." As for the others, they are still in a trance, because Yuan-Jie is like taking medicine. Originally, the fight between him and Qingzi was still very anxious, but Yuan-Jie suddenly overturned Qingzi, which was something they had never seen before. Hawkeye was not so surprised, because he knew that Yuan-Jie had 100 or 200 devil fruits. The other party must have used the ability of the devil fruit, so this is the only way to turn the Aokiji. After Yuan-Jie said this, the other people came to their senses. Especially Ace. Because he knew that the 3 generals of the Navy were all very powerful. You can't even beat it yourself. But now he has been defeated by this guy in front of him, and the whole battle has only passed for about 10 minutes. How is this possible? At this time, Ace only felt that everything was very unreal. Of course, Luffy didn't know the strength of the Admiral, because he was very shocked that Yuan-Jie got such a big guy directly. This guy is really too big, several times bigger than this giant. Uncle, you are amazing, you caught such a big fish. Sanji, you must prepare these ingredients well, and we must be full today. 20. Defeated Aokiji. Luffy is undoubtedly a big foodie. In the face of such good ingredients, Sanji also showed a very strong enthusiasm at this time. Because such ingredients can be encountered but not sought after, even if they do, if there is no strong strength, they will definitely not be able to catch such a big guy. As for the two giants, they showed deep admiration for Yuan-Jie. Because the person in front of him is really too powerful. After the comparison between him and this admiral, these two guys are just fighting. What shocked them even more was that Yuan-Jie actually caught such a big sea king, which was not on the same order of magnitude as what they had caught before. What made them even more unexpected was that the wine made by Yuan-Jie was really delicious. All the drunkards present praised Yuan-Jie's wine. This fish is so huge that it needs to be grilled with a huge fire. This great project was handed over to Ace. As for Yuan-Jie, he was responsible for killing the fish, and then following Sanji's orders to grill the fish. Because of such a huge fish, only Ace's flame can cook it, and only Yuan-Jie can easily move this fish. This fish is cooked in no time. Then, they started a feast here. In the end, each of them was full. Their stomachs are very big. However, the fish has not been eaten yet. After eating, they went to sleep. The next day, Yuan-Jie was woken up. And it was awakened by these two giants. That Yuan-Jie, we decided to follow you. The two of us fighting here are so pointless, we decided to be your crew. This is what Yuan-Jie never thought of. And the two giant ninjas actually wanted to follow him. Yuan-Jie's current crew is also Hokage, and he is indeed very short of crew now. The strength of these two guys is also very strong, and Yuan-Jie naturally wants to take these two guys as crew members. But they don't have such a big ship at this time. It's not that I don't want to accept you. It's that your body is too big, and we have such a big ship. Yuan-Jie said at this time. Hearing this, the two giants felt very sorry. But it is indeed as these two people said, even if the other party promised him, but there is no such a big ship. But soon, Yuan-Jie thought of one thing. Does that mean that you don't have Momo fruit? This silent fruit can die and has the ability to multiply, not just speed. The size can also be multiplied. I've decided to take you two as my crew. Yuan-Jie said to the two giants at this time. But, you don't have a boat that big, and we can't go with you. It's okay, I just thought of a way. When other people heard this, they were very curious at this time. If these two giants were to follow Yuan-Jie, it would definitely require a huge ship. Now that Yuan-Jie says there is a way, they are very curious what kind of way Yuan-Jie has. Uncle, what way do you have to get this giant uncle away? Luffy scratched his head and asked. Yes, these two giant uncles are so huge. Usopp was also very puzzled at this time. I thought, Uncle, are you using your ability to fly people in the air to get these two guys away? Nami felt that the uncle in front of him must have such an idea. Why didn't I think of it? The other people looked like they were suddenly enlightened at this time. However, this time Yuan-Jie shook his head. Seeing this, they were even more puzzled at this time. Then Yuan-Jie made a small boat from Luffy and their boat. When they saw Yuan-Jie make a boat, they only felt very puzzled. They didn't know what the uncle in front of them was going to do. Then, after the uncle in front of them touched the boat immediately became bigger. It became a ship that was many times bigger than their Golden Mary. After seeing such a scene, all the people present had their eyes rounded. Even Hokage is no exception. This is simply too unimaginable. Of course, if Yuan-Jie doesn't need such a method, he has other methods. Just the one method they thought of, but that one method is obviously a bit clumsy. Of course, Yuan-Jie can also use the ability of the frozen fruit that Aokiji just sent. He froze the sea directly, and the two giants could walk on the ice. Or they could build a boat out of ice. As long as Yuan-Jie keeps that ship in a frozen state, that's fine. However, that is obviously not the best way. The two giants had nothing to pack, and then they left the place. As for the green pheasants, they were left on this island. When Aokiji woke up, their group had long since disappeared. It seems that the strength of that guy is still underestimated. That guy deserves to be the guy who can make Hawkeyes can serve as the crew of the other side. The strength of the other side is really terrifying. Headquarters report. Looking at the two in Aokiji, this is indeed a big thing. Aokiji has never suffered much. Then, the green pheasant came to the water's edge, and then came the ice age. However, the seawater was not frozen. Why is that so? At this time, Aokiji just felt very unbelievable. He then used his frozen fruit abilities again, but nothing happened. What exactly is this situation? Why do I have no devil fruit abilities now? Aokiji tried several times, but in the end it was the result of no personality. What is this situation? Could it be that the other party conceal the power of my devil fruit? Aokiji can only think so at this time. He definitely thought that the devil fruit that was not his was plundered by Yuanj. Soon, Aokiji thought of something. For decades, there is a curse. All pirates who have played against Roger, among them, those with devil fruit abilities, their devil fruit abilities will disappear. Could it be this guy did it all? Aokiji was a little unbelievable at this time. This guy is definitely not easy. In the end, Aokiji was very helpless. He had to get a wooden boat by himself, and then headed back to the Admiralty. As for Yuanjie, they still let their boat float in the air at this time. They then set off towards Alabasta. Because there are many devil fruits there, and those devil fruits Yuanj are determined to win. I'm looting devil fruit in One Piece, Chapter 21-40. 21. Devil Fruit Curse. During this process, Ace was full of doubts. Because the strength of this Yuan song is a bit too perverted. Not to mention that the other party has a terrifying strength, the other party also has a strange ability, which has never been seen before. In this regard, Yuanjie felt very headache. Naturally, Yuanjie couldn't tell Ace clearly about this. If he made it clear, the guy with the white beard would definitely come to him. The opponent's devil fruit is still here. For the devil fruit that they plundered from others, in the eyes of other people, this is just a curse from the devil fruit. They don't want to think about themselves. Of course, Yuanjie knew that as he became more and more high profile, this secret would be known by more and more people. Yuanjie felt that he could not be the enemy of Whitebeard yet. He was also looking forward to Ace being captured by Blackbeard. Because Zhuang Yuanj seems to think that the Advanced City is a good place, a place to collect devil fruits. There are a lot of pirates in there. And among these pirates, there are many capable ones. If Ace is caught, then he will have a reason to attack the Advanced City. Therefore, at this time, Yuanj can only develop according to the original plot. Yuanj's flight speed was quite fast, and then they came to Alabasta. Ace is going to find Blackbeard, and they are going to Rainforest to find Crocodile. Then, they set off towards the rain. In this regard, Yuanjie was very puzzled. Shouldn't they be heading for a new route? Why did you leave the new route to Yudu now? Yuanjie just perfunctory these guys, saying that he was going to do something. Because Yuanj's speed is very fast, they feel that Yuanj should not delay a lot of time. Moreover, with the strange ability of this uncle, the time spent on their original journey was greatly reduced. As for the green pheasants, they met Smog and his party behind. General, what's your situation? Seeing the dignified admiral look like this, Smog asked in a puzzled way. That guy is indeed very powerful, even I am not the opponent's opponent. I fought the opponent, and I was defeated. Qingzi is not the kind of person who loves face very much. He said that he lost to Yuanj. Hearing this, Smog was extremely surprised. Because he never thought that this guy's strength is so terrifying. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Why is his strength so terrifying? Smoker asked in confusion. Such a powerful person, they should have heard of it, but they had never heard of it at all, which made him very puzzled. If I'm not mistaken, the other party may be on the ship of One Piece Roger, Aokiji said at this time. Hearing this, Smog was very shocked, because he did not expect that guy turned out to be on the One Piece ship. He's on the One Piece ship, why haven't I seen it in those bounty lists? Smog knows a lot about One Piece, because he came out of Rog Town, because he also knows a lot about him. But he hadn't heard of this man. Do you know that curse? What curse? As long as the pirate group that has fought against Roger, the devil fruit ability among them, their devil fruit ability will disappear, Aokiji said lightly at this time. Hearing this, Smog was very shocked at this time. He had heard of this legend. It's probably not a curse, but this guy. Soon, Smoker thought of something. General, has your devil fruit power gone too? Smog asked curiously at this time. Hearing this, Aokiji walked away and frowned. Then he asked, did your devil fruit ability also disappear? That's right, since I fought the opponent, the power of my devil fruit disappeared. I thought something happened to my body, but I didn't expect it to be such a reason. Smoker figured it all out. Do you have a phone bug here? It's a big deal, and I'm going to report it to headquarters. Hearing this, Smoker immediately found the phone bug and handed it to Aokiji. Then Aokiji quickly dialed the phone bug of the Warring States period. You are Marshall. I am Aokiji. What happened to the green pheasant? What's going on with you? Sengoku asked with concern at this time. Sorry, I screwed things up. Hearing this, the Warring States were shocked, because they didn't expect that Aokiji would screw up this matter. You must know that in addition to being lazy, Chingzi is very reliable in doing things, so the Warring States period gave such a thing to Chingzi. Of course, part of the reason is that he is very optimistic about Aokiji. Tell me what's going on. I was beaten by that guy. Hearing this, Warring States was shocked again, because he did not expect that Chingzi was defeated by the opponent. You were actually beaten by that guy. Tell me how the other party beat you. After hearing this news, the Warring States also paid more and more attention to Yuanj. Because he can defeat Aokiji, the opponent is definitely a big pirate, and he is not the most powerful one. The opponent's three-color arrogance and swordsmanship are very powerful. Of course, the most important thing is that the opponent's has a strange ability, so I guess I was defeated. And after I was defeated, the ability of my frozen fruit also disappeared. So I think decades ago, that curse about the Roger pirates had something to do with this guy. There is still such a thing. I immediately sent someone to investigate, who is this guy? And what is the strength of the other party? Sengoku is also very curious about the strength of the other party, because that is very important for pirates. In my opinion, the opponent should have the strength of the four emperors. Hearing this, the Warring States at this time could not close their mouths in surprise. Originally, the four emperors had already caused their navy to feel a lot of headaches. Now there is another guy with the strength of the four emperors. Does this allow their navy to have a peaceful day? Even Smog next to him was very shocked when he heard this. 22. 1.5 billion bounty. Because he didn't expect that guy would have such terrifying strength, he just couldn't imagine it. But this is only the strength of the opponent. The strength of the crew of the opponent is not very high. They can threaten the people of our navy, only the Eagle Eye. If my guess is correct, that guy should be looking for the crew. Build your own sphere of influence. Hearing this, Sengoku didn't know what to say. Obviously, Sengoku felt that this was also a very troublesome thing. After reporting these important matters, Warring States hung up the phone. Then, the Navy called an urgent meeting. When the Warring States period said what Ouchi said at the meeting, many people did not believe it. Especially Doflamingo. That guy is just a newcomer, and he is so powerful. It can only be said that you guys are too useless, so you are not the opponent's opponent. If I go, that guy will definitely be taken care of by me. Be docile. Although Doflamingo is the king of Chihuahua, the other party does not take the navy in his eyes. If you have the ability, go and fight with each other. Akainu was extremely unhappy at this time. Is my brain ill and want me to fight? Then the navy will solve such a scourge for free for your navy. Obviously, Doflamingo is not stupid, because these guys obviously want to provoke themselves, and then use their own hands to deal with that guy. Although Brother Doflaming said this, he also knew that the guy who could defeat Aokiji must be very difficult. If he went to deal with the other party, he would also suffer a lot of losses. What do you think about this recently emerging Yuan song? At this time, the Warring States period consulted other people for advice. For this matter, the Warring States is also very headache. He believed in Aokiji very much. If it is really like what Aokiji said, then the other party will have a great impact on the current form. I think such a guy who is a powerful threat to our navy should eradicate him. Akainu said at this time. Of course, there is another aspect that is said to Doflamingo. Because this Doflamingo is too arrogant, which makes Akainu look very uncomfortable. As for the yellow monkey, at this time, he did not express any opinion on this matter. He just showed his usual grinning look. Then, other people have their opinions. How about letting the other party join the Chihuahua? This time someone suggested. Now the Chihuahua has no place. Didn't Hawkeye leave Chihuahua? Let the other party join. Hearing this, Doflamingo smiled and said, Eagle Eye has left. Now the other party is the captain. Do you think the other party will join in, and that fellow Eagle Eye didn't say that he wants to quit Chihuahua? In the end, they did not discuss any results. It's just that Yuanji's bounty has been changed to 1.5 billion Bailey from the original 300 million Bailey. In this regard, in the view of the Warring States period, this is still very mismatched with the strength of the opponent. However, these are the suggestions made by these people. And the other party has not done a very bad influence now. In this emergency meeting, they did not discuss countermeasures, but only discussed each other's bounty. When Yuanji's bounty went out, the whole world was boiling. Because they never thought that this newcomer, who had just become famous, has now reached such a high bounty. You know, the pirates' bounty for themselves represents the embodiment of strength. After seeing Yuanji's high bounty, many pirates expressed their dissatisfaction. Because this guy just came out with 300 million Baileys, and now it has suddenly risen to 15 Baileys. This increase is too fast. Of course, the most important thing is that they don't know much about this pirate, and the other party has not done anything earth-shattering. The other party is just a small pirate from the East China Sea. As for the navy, for the sake of face, the news that Qingzi was defeated by Yuanji was not announced. They just announced Yuanji's bounty. Therefore, whether it is the navy or the pirates, Yuanji is also very controversial. Even a lot of pirates and the navy began to fight Yuanji's idea. Because in their opinion, the actual strength of this Yuan song did not reach 1.5 billion Bailey, such a high bounty. Therefore, in the eyes of these guys, Yuanji is a sweet pastry. If he kills the pair, then he can get 1.5 billion Bailey, which is not a small amount. For all this, Yuanji did not know. He also misses those devil fruits in Crocodile. He wants to collect devil fruits as soon as possible, so that he can be with his family members earlier. This is Yuanji's pursuit in this world now. Naturally, the wanted order was passed to the hands of the 4 emperors. After seeing this wanted notice, Shanks behaved normally. Because he knew that Yuanji's strength was very powerful. As for Whitebeard, I never imagined that this winemaker would have such great skills. This made him very puzzled. Because this guy was making wine on the Roger pirate ship, how did he suddenly become so powerful now? You have to know that your deputy captain, Marco, is even lower than this guy. Is this guy so powerful? Whitebeard is also a person who has been in the sea for so long. He knows the meaning of this bounty. The strength of pirates is only part of it, and it is more of a threat to the world government. But they haven't heard anything about Yuan recently. Obviously, these things have been covered up by the Navy. As for why it was covered up, it was definitely for the Navy's face. After dealing with the Navy so many times, Whitebeard still understands this very well. After thinking of this, Whitebeard felt that he had to examine Yuan. As for Auntie and Kaido, they didn't care much about it, because the other party was just a 1.5 billion guy, and his bounty was still a lot lower than his own, and the other party was obviously not a big role. Crocodile did not attend this emergency meeting of the Navy this time, because he still has big things to do. But he also knew this. For Yuan, Crocodile is also very interested. Because the bounty for such a guy came out with 300 million Baileys, and even reached 1.5 billion Baileys. You know, his own bounty is only 81 million Baileys bounty, but he doesn't have the strength of Kaido and Auntie, so he doesn't take Yuan seriously. Crocodile even came up with the idea of pulling the other party into his work club. At this time, Robin ran over and told Crocodile that a few people suddenly came outside, saying that they were here to teach him a lesson. Hearing this, Crocodile was very angry. Because the other party dared to teach himself a lesson without weighing himself. Of course it was Yuan who said this. 23. Bucky who feels good about himself. Yuan felt that at this time, he was no longer low-key, so he had to be high-profile when doing things. The fact that he defeated Aokiji will soon be known by the Navy, and he will also become the focus of the Navy's idea. Robin still doesn't know about Yuan, so she doesn't know Yuan and the others. Crocodile didn't have any tension, because in his opinion, it was just a few little devils who came to provoke him. Mr. Zero, those people don't seem to be easy. Robin said to Crocodile at this time. Although Robin doesn't know Yuan and his party, Robin knows Hawkeye. Hawkeye is also in that group, so she feels that the identity of this group is very complicated. Miss All Sunday is just some clamoring bugs, what's not easy? Obviously, Crocodile didn't take those guys seriously. Because he sees this kind of thing a lot. Seeing this, Robin didn't say much at this time. Yuan and his group were standing outside the city at this time because of the two giants behind them. Although Yuan is a pirate, he is not the kind of vicious person. If he brings these two giants into the city, those guys in the city will suffer. Crocodile arrived soon after, but it was the two giants that he saw first, Donley and Brokey. Is it the two of you clamoring here? At this time, Crocodile was wearing a big sweater and smoking a cigarette. Standing there, he only felt very bad. You two don't think you are too big. Crocodile, don't take you seriously. Crocodile obviously did not take the two giants in his eyes. Hearing this, Yuan also burst out laughing. Because this crocodile is the king of Chihuahua, but the bounty is only 81 million Bailey, and the bounty of each of these two giants is 100 million Bailey. Of course, Yuan knew that this crocodile must be more than such a high bounty. You are just a guy with a bounty of 81 million, is there such an arrogance? Yuan felt that if you want the other party to be your own crew member, you can't be polite to the other party, and you have to beat the other party first. That's why Yuan is so provocative. What are you? Crocodile said very unhappily. Yuan also stood up at this time. Seeing this, Crocodile was also slightly taken aback. When he saw Yuan his eyes widened. Because he knows Yuan, this guy is a big pirate of 1.5 billion. Is that you? Crocodile didn't have any fear, even the four emperors like Whitebeard, he didn't have any fear, the guy in front of him was just a guy of 1.5 billion. Didn't think you knew me. Yuan was very surprised, he didn't expect that he was already famous. Don't think you can do whatever you want with a bounty of 1.5 billion. Pirates in the Navy don't mean you have enough strength. Crocodile was very dissatisfied with Yuan's appearance. Hearing this, other people were shocked at this time. Especially Luffy and his party. Because he did not expect that the uncle in front of him would be so powerful. This is simply beyond his imagination. 1.5 billion bounty is estimated to be in the entire world, and there are not many people with bounties like this. Of course, they are also very uncomfortable in their hearts. Because at this time, they still don't have a penny bounty, and they all have 0 bounties. This has a lot to do with Yuan-Jie, because Yuan-Jie is too two-eyed, and the light of all of them is undoubtedly blocked by each other. Of course, when it's okay, Yuan-Jie teaches these people. Because these guys, if they leave by themselves, the strength of these guys will definitely not be much at that time. Yuan-Jie not only taught Zoro swordsmanship, but also taught them to be domineering. Because if these people are not domineering, it will definitely not work. Although they don't even have a penny bounty now, they have to say that their strength is very powerful. Uncle, give me this guy. I must teach this guy a good lesson. Luffy hasn't fought for a long time. He also tried the results of training with Luffy these days. In this regard, Yuan-Jie also agreed. Because this crocodile is telling the truth, the other party is not his opponent at all. Now that he is a big pirate with a bounty of 1.5 billion, he must at least be a little bit aggressive. Yuan-Jie, you asked him to come up, isn't this a death sentence? This crocodile obviously did not take Luffy into his eyes. Hearing this, Yuan-Jie really couldn't stand it anymore, because this crocodile didn't even look in the mirror, what kind of strength he was. With the strength of the other party, he still underestimates others. In fact, Yuan-Jie didn't really want to recruit this crocodile. It wasn't because he really couldn't find anyone. Now there are only 3 crew members, 2 giants and Eagle Eyes. Yuan-Jie also wants to build the strongest pirate group. He wants to attack the navy, crusade the navy, and beat other pirates. As for why this is done, it's because everything is for devil fruits. If he wants to collect all the devil fruits, he must be the last thing to do. Although his strength is very strong now, if a few guys like Aokiji deal with him, he will definitely not be their opponent. Therefore, Yuan-Jie also needs help. Meanwhile, on an island. Look, boss. At this time, Bucky's men had just received a wanted order from the world government. Bucky was also very curious at this time. When he saw the reward order, he was also very surprised. Because he knows the person on this reward order, and this guy is Yuan-Jie. When he looked at the bounty below, Bakina was taken aback, because he did not expect that Yuan-Jie would reward 1.5 billion Baileys. This is really scary. This guy is not as strong as me, why is the bounty so high? In this regard, Bakina is very puzzled. Because in his opinion, Yuan-Jie's strength has always been weaker than himself. This guy doesn't even dare to fight himself. Captain Bucky, didn't expect your friend to be so good. Bucky's crew praised at this time. Captain Bucky's friends are also good, so Bucky naturally won't compare to his counterparts. Our Captain Bucky is also very powerful. Bucky's men were flattering Bucky again at this time. At this time, Alrita was in a daze looking at the wanted notice of Yuan-Jie. 24. Bucky, he dare not fight with me. Soon, he came to ask Bucky. Why is this guy so powerful? Didn't you say that the opponent's strength is not as good as you? Because he personally heard Bucky say that the opponent's strength is not as good as even him, but this guy has so much bounty, the opponent must have a very strong strength. Yeah, this guy never dared to fight me before. Bucky said proudly at this time. Hearing this, Arita was very speechless at this time. The other party has never fought with Bucky, and this guy feels weaker than himself. Now it is clear at a glance that the other party is not afraid of Bucky. It is estimated that the other party is too lazy to fight with Bucky. Bucky's strength is very weak, and it was solved by the guy in the straw hat who just emerged. This guy still thinks he is very powerful all day long. The fight between Crocodile and Luffy also begins. Yuan-Jie was very depressed at this time, because he didn't see the other members of the Baroque Work Club. Collecting devil fruits is Yuan's main purpose this time. Because in this Baroque Work Club, there are many devil fruit-capable people. With so many devil fruits, I naturally want to get those devil fruits. If these guys escaped, then it would be very difficult to find these people. Therefore, Yuan Jie is like this. It seems that the only way to catch this guy is to let this guy call those people back. Now those people in the Baroque Work Club should not know that Crocodile's identity is Mr. Zero. After thinking of this, Yuan Jie at this time was not as worried as before. Then, he watched Luffy and Crocodile fight. This Baroque still has a bit of strength, and now Luffy is not the opponent's opponent at all. The main reason is that this guy is a natural devil fruit person. Luffy knew that if he hit the opponent's body would turn into sand. This made Luffy very uncomfortable. Yuan, do you still think this guy is my opponent? It's just this guy, he wants to be and he wants to beat me, and he wants to be the Pirate King. This is a joke. Luffy can't attack Crocodile at all. Therefore, Luffy was severely injured by the opponent. Luffy, with the arrogance I gave you, your fists can't attack the opponent's 9. If you had arrogance, this situation wouldn't happen. Yuan Jie said to Luffy at this time. He couldn't get used to Crocodile's arrogant appearance, so he reminded Luffy at this time. Domineering. Crocodile naturally knew domineering, but he didn't know how to use domineering. You will be domineering? Crocodile asked at this time. At this time, Yuan Jie looked at each other like a fool. Yuan Jie also didn't know, where did this guy come from to have the courage to challenge Whitebeard. Yuan Jie did not give any answer to what the other party said. Hearing this, Luffy quickly used his domineering arrogance, and his punch directly knocked Crocodile into the air. Seeing this, Crocodile only felt that this was really incredible at this time. He didn't expect that the other party would be domineering. Crocodile knew that he could not help the other party by relying on the characteristics of this natural devil fruit. Although he is not domineering, he still understands domineering. Domineering can restrain the ability of the devil fruit. After seeing that the other party can use domineering, Crocodile no longer underestimates the other party. Because that domineering is very restrained on the ability of his devil fruit. How did you learn to be domineering? Crocodile asked. For this domineering, he also wants to learn, but he has never found such a way. Crocodile is an old fritter after all. If he has domineering, his strength can be greatly improved. You must know that these 4 emperors are all 3-color domineering guys. These guys are so strong, and it is inseparable from these guys having such a powerful domineering. This is what my uncle taught me. Luffy also answered the other party's doubts at this time. Hearing this, Crocodile looked at Yuan at this time. Obviously, Yuan Jie also has domineering, and the domineering is very powerful. At this time, Crocodile also really knew how powerful Yuan was. Luffy and Crocodile continued to fight together. Of course Crocodile was not reconciled, because he was going to be defeated by a little pirate who borrowed a nameless name, and he was the king of the Chihuahua. Although Luffy has domineering, this guy is not very skilled at mastering domineering. Therefore, this guy can sometimes unleash his arrogance, and sometimes he can't. So, he and Crocodile are inextricably linked. However, this Luffy is really tenacious, and in the end this guy still defeated Crocodile. In the end, Luffy and Crocodile will not fight who is the most powerful, but whose life is harder. Obviously, Luffy's life is a little harder than Crocodile's. Crocodile couldn't believe that he actually lost in the hands of such a young boy. Because Luffy is not their crew, therefore, Luffy gave Crocodile to defeat Yuan and did not get the devil fruit. When Crocodile woke up, it was very unbelievable. Because he never thought that a kid like the other party would defeat him, which made him a little unbelievable. Who the hell are you? In Crocodile's view, Yuan Jiju was a very complicated person. The others had already gone out at this time, only Yuan Jie and Crocodile were in the same room. Crocodile, I still lack a crew member, although you are weaker, because I lack a crew member, you can be my crew member reluctantly. Yuan Jie said to Crocodile lightly at this time. Hearing this, Crocodile was very angry at this time. Because the guy in front of him didn't see himself in his eyes at all. The other party actually said that he was weak, which made him a little unbearable. He is the king of the 7 martial seas. Of course, the most important thing is that he still has important things to do. That is to subvert the country of Alabasta and build a country of his own. 25. Crocodile is a woman. I, Crocodile, will never agree. At this time, Crocodile said to Yuan Jie very firmly. You will agree later. Yuan Jie said lightly at this time. I, Crocodile, will not agree even if I die. Crocodile's attitude at this time was very firm. You are not a man. Yuan Jie said these words lightly. Hearing this, Crocodile was shocked at this time, because he did not expect the other party to know such a thing. Still, Crocodile was a little bit unconvinced of this. You are talking nonsense. I'm a pure man. Could it be that I'm still a woman? Crocodile retorted. Ha ha. Don't think you're a man just because you're always smoking a cigarette, you still can't change your role as a woman. Yuan Jie was babbling nonsense at this time. Hearing this, Crocodile's face became very ugly at this time. Isn't there any sex reassignment surgery in this world? Crocodile still retorted. Ha ha. You've changed from a woman to a man, don't you know that there is sex reassignment surgery in this world? Yuan Jie said with a smile at this time. Hearing this, Crocodile's face became very ugly. At this time, he confronted Yuan Jie and asked, Who the hell are you? You just need to know who you are. Who the hell told you this? As long as you know, I know this. Yuan Jie did not answer the other party's question. Is this what Ivankov told you? You only need that guy, and only me and that guy know about this matter. Do you know that shemale? So you are a member of the Revolutionary Army. Yuan Jie still did not answer the other party's question. Whether you agree to my request, if you don't agree, I don't mind telling everyone in the world about this. Do you dare? Crocodile's face was ashen at this time. If this matter is told to the whole world, then he will definitely be ridiculed by others. He is the dignified king of Chihuahua. Okay. I promise you, but I have important things to do, and I won't go with you now. Crocodile said to each other. The important thing you said is to subvert Alabasta. Isn't Alabasta very good now? Why do you want to make a name for yourself? Yuan Jie did not say in a good mood at this time. Hearing this, Crocodile was greatly shocked, because he did not expect that the other party knew all about it. Who the hell are you? Crocodile felt that the guy in front of him was not simple. Even if he tried to break his head, Crocodile would not have thought that the other party was a transmigrator. It doesn't matter who I am, what matters is who you are. At this time, Yuan Jie uttered a sentence that is often in the movie. Okay, I promise you, release me. Crocodile said to Yuan Jie at this time. At this time, Crocodile was handcuffed by Halushi. Yuan Jie then loosened the opponent's handcuffs. And at this time, Crocodile took action against Yuan Jie. Because in Crocodile's view, if the other party is removed, then everything can proceed according to the normal plan. And he will not be afraid of the other party to threaten himself. Women. Unreliable. Yuan Jie said lightly at this time. Yuan Jie's strength is not something that Crocodile can overcome. At this time, Luffy and the others just came back full after eating. Uncle, who says women are unreliable? Am I not very reliable? When Nami heard this, she was very dissatisfied at this time. Of course, when Nami said this, she threw a wink at Yuan Jie. Seeing this, Yuan Jie didn't know what to say. After seeing these people come back, Crocodile stopped immediately. He also had to agree to Yuan Jie's request. Yuan Jie naturally had to use the other party to recall his own subordinates. In this regard, Crocodile is also very puzzled. Because his subordinates can't pose any threat at all, he doesn't know why Yuanj cares so much. However, whoever told him to have the handle in the other party's hands, he also had to follow Yuanj's method. After giving such an order, those guys were immediately summoned back by Yuanj. They were also very dumbfounded. Then, when they came back, a masked man walked them away for a meal, and they didn't know what happened next. Crocodile didn't understand this matter very much. Why did Yuanj do this? He originally thought that Yuanj was going to kill these people, but he didn't expect it to end like this. Even Crocodile's subordinates were still very confused at this time. After obtaining the devil fruit, Yuanj gave the country back to the king of Alabasta. When the king of Alabasta heard this, he was very confused at this time. He didn't know what the situation was. Wei Wei naturally came back. She was still suffering from not knowing what to do with Crocodile, because it was the guy who made Alabasta so unstable. Why didn't she expect that there was someone who saved their country, let go of her father, and handed over the country to them? For Yuanj, Wei Wei is very grateful, and of course, she also admires such a pirate who does good deeds. Facing their questions, Yuanj just said that he was just seeking a benefit for world peace. Hearing this, these people admire Yuanj very much. Even Luffy admires Yuanj even more, because Yuanj still has such a consciousness. This guy is so powerful, and he has been keeping a low profile. It is because of such a reason that he became a pirate. In this regard, Sanji was very contemptuous. Because in Sanji's view, this guy is his rival in love. Yep, it's a rival. Because these good-looking women worship Yuanj very much, which makes him extremely unhappy. He is a beautiful man, but these women really like such a greasy middle-aged uncle. As for the latter matter, Yuanj did not help these people, but let them solve it by themselves. Yuanj is just helping out by the way. He is not the savior. He will try to help as much as he can. Perhaps this is the consciousness of modern people. 26. Blackbeard was frightened. Then, these people set off again. Yuanj knew that he and these people would be separated soon. After getting along with these people, Yuanj was a little reluctant for them. But Yuanj knows that they have their own way to go and their own things to do. As for the devil fruit on their boat, Yuanj felt that he would naturally take these devil fruits away. Robin also boarded the boat behind, and Yuanj didn't say anything about it, which surprised Robin. Yuanj then drove the boat forward quickly. As for many places in the middle, Yuanj did not stop. Blackbeard began to play Yuanj's idea, because this guy was just a newcomer, and Blackbeard felt that this guy was definitely not strong enough. They want to capture Yuanj, a 300 million guy, and then they can become famous in one battle. If they knew that Yuanj's current bounty was 1.5 billion, Blackbeard would never dare to make such an idea again. Because this is definitely a big pirate, you must know that more than 1 billion pirates in the whole world can now be counted with both hands. More than 1 billion pirates naturally have very powerful strength. After some inquiries, Blackbeard found out the whereabouts of Yuanj and his group. It was too boring for Yuanj and his group to fly in the sky, so they put the boat down. Zoro kept asking Hokage for advice. Of course, Hokage also taught this guy generously. As for Luffy and Usopp fishing there with great interest at this time. Yuanj also started to sleep at this time. Captain, it seems that Yuanj and his party are in front. When Fan Cow was hunting birds, he saw Yuanj's pirate group. Hearing this, Blackbeard grinned and looked very happy. Because in Blackbeard's view, the other party is the prey of his fame this time. If we catch these guys, we'll be famous all over the world. Blackbeard grinned and looked very wretched. As for other people, this time it was a look of eagerness to try. Although the other party is a big pirate of 300 million, the Blackbeard at this time did not take the other party's house in his eyes at all. Then, they quickly drove in the direction of Yuanj and his group. Hey, there seems to be a pirate ship heading towards us ahead. At this time, Usopp also saw Blackbeard's pirate group. Hello. After Luffy saw the other side's pirate ship, he also waved. Haha, Yuanj, you can't run away today. My Blackbeard pirates will be famous in this world from now on. All I could hear was a wretched laugh from the boat. Yuanj was still sleeping there at this time, because he didn't hear this. Hearing this, these people didn't take this matter seriously at all. Because in their eyes, the other party is just a little-known Little Highs. Soon, Luffy thought of setting up. Blackbeard. Isn't that the guy Ace wanted to catch? I didn't expect to meet him here. Luffy was also very surprised at this time. Soon, the Blackbeard pirates rushed over. When their boat approached this boat, they jumped directly onto Luffy's boat. When they jumped onto the boat, they were all very happy. Because in their opinion, they jumped onto the other party's boat, and these people must not be able to escape at this time. Because they were so happy. However, Yuanj, Hokage, and Crocodile were all sleeping at this time. Where is Yuanj? As soon as Blackbeard came up, the big man shouted. Hearing this, Luffy pointed to Blackbeard at this time. You guys, haven't you seen Lao Su sleeping? You're still yelling. Crocodile apparently heard the noise, and then said angrily. Then the group of them looked over, and saw a familiar face there. It was Crocodile who slept there. Seeing this, Blackbeard was very puzzled at this time, because he didn't know why this guy was on this ship. The other party was not wearing chains and handcuffs. Obviously, the other party was not caught. Captain, look over there, that guy looks like Hawkeye. At this time, Blackbeard's subordinates obviously found Hawkeye, and then shouted. Why is this guy on this boat? At this time, Hawkeye didn't have chains or handcuffs on his hands, and the other party wasn't caught. They are all companions of this uncle. Luffy answered these guys' questions at this time. After hearing such a news, the Blackbeard pirates exclaimed. What kind of characters are these? All of them are Yuanji's companions, it's hard to believe. But soon, they immediately covered their mouths. If these guys are woken up, then these guys will definitely not let them go. Seeing this, Blackbeard didn't dare to make Yuanji's idea at this time. Because the strength of these two guys under Yuan Singer is really terrifying. If you disturb these people, your group will definitely not be able to eat and walk around. Sorry, we're disturbing. Blackbeard hinted apologetically at this time. Seeing this, all these people present were full of doubts. Because these guys called one by one just now were aggressive, how come these guys are like this now? This made him feel very puzzled. You are Blackbeard? Luffy asked at this time. That's right, it's Blackbeard below. Blackbeard was extremely respectful at this time, because he only knew now that these guys are not easy, and he is no match for these guys. Ace seems to be looking for you. You are not a good person at first sight. As for what, you should know yourself. Luffy said very badly at this time. Hearing this, Blackbeard was also slightly taken aback at this time, because he didn't expect these people to know Ace. The current Blackbeard doesn't dare to disturb these guys, so he is also extremely well behaved at this time. This must be a misunderstanding. I used to have a good relationship with Captain Ace. Don't worry, I will explain it to Ace. Hearing this, Luffy believed the other party's words. Since this is a misunderstanding, it's time to explain it. 27. Blackbeard was beaten. Since you're Ace's friend, let's eat something on our boat before we go. Sanji's food is delicious. Hearing this, the Blackbeard's face at this time was extremely ugly. If he woke up these people, he would definitely have no good results. I still have something to do, let's eat again later. Blackbeard put those words down, and immediately returned to his ship. What the hell happened to these people? Luffy asked in confusion at this time. These guys are definitely not good people. Captain, that Yuanj is sleeping there, why don't you attack the opponent? That's a very good time. At this time, the fighting champion badgers said, "If we do it, we are definitely not the opponent's opponents. Hokage and Crocodile are willing to be each other's subordinates, which means that the other party's strength must be very unusual. Just Crocodile and Hokage can defeat us. Let's not take such a risk." Blackbeard explained at this time. "Uncle, don't sleep, eat and let go." When it was time to eat, Luffy woke up Yuanj and the others. Luffy also told the uncle about the Blackbeard and his party. There was a guy named Blackbeard just now, the one that Ace was going to chase. He came over just now and said he wanted to arrest us. The guy behind said that it was just a misunderstanding with Ace, and then they were very strange. Leave. Blackbeard. Yuanj didn't expect that Blackbeard had come here just now, which he didn't expect. But Yuanj knew that this Blackbeard must have come to make up his mind. This guy actually dared to hit me with his mind. It seems that he has to teach this black boy a good lesson. Yuanj said with emotion at this time. Then, he let the ship sail quickly to chase after Blackbeard. Because that Blackbeard dared to make up his mind. Blackbeard saw that those people did not catch up, and they were relieved at this time. If they really fight, they will definitely not be the opponents of these guys. Just waiting for the Blackbeard to breathe a sigh of relief. And at this moment, a ship came from the sky in front of them. Isn't that the boat of Yuanji's group? How did these guys fall from the sky? In this regard, these guys at this time are very puzzled. It must be the power of the devil fruit. Blackbeard has met the world, and these unusual things are generally the ability of the devil fruit. It seems, we are going to really fight each other. Blackbeard sighed at this time. You black boy, I didn't expect you to dare to hit me. Today, I will teach you a good lesson for the guy with the white beard, you black boy. Yuanj said very unhappily. HMPH. You, a guy with only 300 million bounty, what are you crazy about in front of us? What Blackbeard is afraid of is not Yuanj, but the two crew members of Yuanj. Because the strength of those two guys is not ordinary. Today I'll show you that even if it's 300 million, I can hang and beat you black boy. Blackbeard felt very unhappy when the other party called him a black boy. Blackbeard also knew that he couldn't escape at this time, so he had no choice but to confront the other side. At this time, Yuanj directly used the ability of Momo Fruit, and his speed was directly multiplied. Yuanj suddenly came to Blackbeard. Then, Yuanj didn't care whether the other party was ready or not, he directly used his domineering arrogance, and then slapped the other party directly. Blackbeard was very embarrassed at this time. Because the other party was caught off guard, it was obviously a sneak attack. Not so, Yuanj also used Momo Guo's ability, and his punch was many times the power of the opponent's previous one. The Blackbeard who hit it was shouting again and again. We'll be trying to save Blackbeard with other people at this time. At this time, Yuanj was directly arrogant and domineering, and these guys were intimidated by him. Yuanj didn't want this black boy to die at this time. Because he wants the black boy to arrest Ace, then he will have a legitimate reason to make a fuss about the city. Because there are a lot of devil fruit capable people there, so that place must be visited. However, at this moment, a voice sounded in Yuanji's mind. Congratulations to the host for defeating Blackbeard. The host gets the dark fruit. Hearing this, Yuanj didn't know what to say at this time. This dark fruit has a great effect on Yuanj. If he had a dark fruit in the previous battle with Aokiji. If Qingzi couldn't use the ability of frozen fruit, then Zhang Qingzi would be easily defeated. However, Yuanj knew that this dark fruit could not be obtained now. If this Blackbeard didn't have the dark fruit, he couldn't defeat Ace. Therefore, Yuanj had no choice but to take out the dark fruit that he had just obtained and stuff it into the opponent's mouth. Blackbeard only felt that the guy in his mouth was very unpalatable, and he almost vomited. Because he was beaten by Yuanj, and Yuanj used Momo Guo's ability, his speed was very fast. Therefore, Blackbeard and Amy saw something, but he only felt that the things in his mouth were very unpalatable. After teaching this guy a lesson, Yuan-Jie left. Why don't these guys get rid of them? And if you give this guy to Whitebeard, they will definitely thank you. Hawkeye asked in confusion at this time. Ace will naturally come and solve this guy personally. I naturally don't want to interfere in this matter. Yuan-Jie said to Hawkeye at this time. I just saw that you ate a devil fruit for the other party. Didn't you collect the devil fruit? How did you give the other party the devil fruit to eat? Eagle Eye is obviously very difficult. Even if Yuan-Jie is already very fast, he still sees the scene just now. I have my own plans. I will tell you about this in due course. What are you talking about? Crocodile watched the two guys chatter, so he ran over and asked curiously. We're just talking about family. Hearing this, Crocodile looked at these two guys with a bad look at this time. Since the two guys didn't talk, Crocodile didn't ask. As they get along these days, Yuan-Jie feels more and more that this crocodile looks like a woman. Because this guy is very intuitive and likes to babble when he has nothing to do. This guy always likes to put on a cold look in front of others. 28. 2 billion bounty. When Blackbeard woke up, he was very angry. Because he was so embarrassed. The other party is obviously a sneak attack, and he is not ready for it. Of course, Blackbeard will also know that the other party is indeed very strong, and the other party also has armed domineering and overlord domineering, and these two domineering are also very powerful. This guy is really strong. No wonder people like Hawkeye and Crocodile are willing to be this guy's crew. Blackbeard sighed. He breathed a sigh of relief at this time, because the other party let him die. But Blackbeard is very curious, what exactly is the other party feeding him? Why do I feel like that guy is a devil fruit? However, I don't have any other devil fruit abilities. In this regard, Blackbeard was very puzzled. What Yuan-Jie gave the other party was really a devil fruit, and it was the other party's devil fruit, which Blackbeard could not have imagined. For Yuan-Jie and his group, the Navy still pays great attention. Because this force cannot be underestimated. Report to the Marshal. Crocodile seems to have joined them. Hearing this, the Warring States period could not help frowning. Because he did not expect that Crocodile would give up his Navy status, which was something that Sengoku never thought of. Now there are two people in Chihuahua who have joined each other, which makes the Warring States have to be nervous. Not only that, but two pirates from the giant clan joined them, one named Dongli and the other named Broki. They were all pirates of 100 million 100 years ago. Not only that, but also some not-so-famous guys such as Pirate Hunter Zoro joined them. At this time in the Warring States period, my head really hurts a bit. If it continues to develop, the other party must be another Sea Emperor. Of course, at this time, the naval headquarters had to raise Yuan-Jie's bounty again. From the original 1.5 billion Bailey to 2 billion Bailey. Although the other party only has a few crew members to join, the threat of the other party to the world government is getting bigger and bigger. When Yuan-Jie changed from 1.5 billion to 2 billion Bailey, the navies and pirates all over the world were boiling. Because they are very depressed, such a guy has never heard any news from each other. The bounties they see instructing each other keep increasing. And one increases several 100 million. This makes these guys very puzzling. Therefore, those pirates are very dissatisfied with the Navy, because their strength is obviously very powerful. But I only have tens of millions. Therefore, those pirates are all very unconvinced. The sound of the pirates gave the Navy an incomparable headache. The reason why the Navy didn't make it public is that they felt it was a disgrace to their Navy. It was like beheading their Navy colonel, then defeating their Navy admiral, and then two Chihuahua took refuge in this guy. None of these things can be said, and if they say it, they will lose the face of their Navy. Therefore, they can only continue to increase each other's bounty, but can't tell what the reason is. Although those pirates were not convinced one by one, they really wanted to catch this guy whose bounty amounted to 2 billion. If this is the case, you can get a bounty of 2 billion. If you get this bounty, then you will make a fortune. Whether it was a pirate or a navy, an operation to catch Yuanj started at this time. In their opinion, Yuanj is a sweet pastry. Of course, Whitebeard was shocked. Because he didn't expect that the winemaker on this Rogers boat would rise to 2 billion Baileys. What puzzled him the most was that this guy didn't seem to do anything, and this guy has reached such a high level. Whitebeard must know that what Yuanj did must have hurt the Navy's face, so the Navy did not announce it. This kid seems to be that I underestimated him before, but if he doesn't make a sound, he has already become a blockbuster. For this matter, Yuanj still does not know. As for Bucky the Clown, every time the Yuan Song bounty goes up, this guy is also very happy, and every time he holds a banquet. Because this guy always felt that Yuanj was weaker than him, since Yuanj had such a high bounty, he naturally wouldn't compare himself to the other side. It wasn't long before Blackbeard saw the bounty. When he saw this bounty, he was dumbfounded. That guy now has 2 billion Baileys, this increase is too terrifying. Blackbeard was frightened at this time except for the cold sweat. Obviously, the opponent's strength is quite terrifying. At the same time, on a table not far from Blackbeard. What kind of thing is this Yuanj? This guy's bounty is so high. Yeah, I don't know that these navies made this guy's bounty so high. This guy hasn't even been for half a month, and he's already so famous now. I don't know what this guy did. I've never heard of it anyway. I feel like this guy has nothing but a false name. Yeah, I'm going to try my luck. If I catch this guy, then there will be 2 billion Bailey, which is a lot of money. If I get this amount of money, then don't go looking for One Piece, who knows whether that guy really exists or is fake. Blackbeard naturally heard the conversation between the group of people next to him. Apparently, these guys have a problem with Yuanj's high bounty. Moreover, the Navy did not reveal why Yuanj got such a high bounty. However, Blackbeard thought that the 2 Chihuahua under the opponent's hands, especially Hawkeye, even if that guy didn't have a devil fruit, he was still strong and terrifying. And he also knew that Hawkeye fought Shanks, one of the 4 emperors, and he didn't know the result. Obviously, this Eagle Eye has the strength of the 4 emperors, but this guy is now willing to be Yuanji's subordinate. Obviously this Yuanji's strength is definitely not ordinary. Blackbeard felt that Yuanji had probably done a lot of things to offend the Navy, because it hurt the Navy's face. Therefore, the Navy did not speak out about this matter. Blackbeard has now experienced Yuanji's strength, and the other party is very unusual. Many pirates began to turn back from the channel. Some people want to get that rich bounty, and some people want to defeat Yuanj and become famous all over the world. After all, this Yuanj is now a big pirate with 2 billion, the bounty is very high, and the whole world is paying attention to each other. 29. Kill the Quartet. They searched for Yuanj's footprints one by one. Yuanj's next stop is naturally to go to the empty island. Because there is a golden ship there. However, Yuanj did not know the exact location of the empty island, so they had to go to Gaia to inquire about the whereabouts of Kulakai. Because that guy knows the whereabouts of Sky Island. Then they set off towards Gaia. As for the people who were looking for Yuanj, they just felt like they had disappeared completely, which made these guys who wanted to catch Yuanj feel extremely depressed. Of course, they couldn't imagine that Yuanj was not sailing on the sea like these guys. Yuanj is a child flying in the sky, these people are completely different. Therefore, these people couldn't find Yuanj and his party when they searched for it on the sea. However, on this day, Yuanj and the others fell from the sky, because they were going to land in Gaia, and they wanted to inquire about the place where Nakulakai lived. Look, that ship fell from the sky. It's incredible. Seeing Yuanj and their boat falling from the sky, the people who saw them only felt very incredible. Look, that pirate flag. That seems to be the guy whose navy offered a bounty of 2 billion Baileys. Yes. Because Yuanj and the others were on Luffy's pirate ship, when the Navy offered a bounty, it was also hung under the Straw Hat Pirates. After hearing this news, the pirates in the vicinity boiled. First, the hungry wolves rushed towards the madness as if they saw their prey. Ha ha, Yuanj, your head is mine. Just surrender to us obediently. The head of this Yuanj belongs to me. If your other pirates rob us, we will never bypass you. We have several crew members over 100 million. Look, it's a pirate group, it's a very famous pirate. It is said that their captain has a bounty of 200 million. I didn't expect them to come. Yeah, this time, Yuanj will definitely not be able to escape. Yeah, why does this guy have such a high bounty? This guy's bounty is so high, let's wait for other people to hunt and kill him. Ellipsis ellipsis ellipsis. Yuanj naturally heard this as well. Yuanj was surprised that his bounty had risen again, and now it has become 2 billion. Of course, it's no surprise to Yuanj, because he has such strength. He also heard the words of these people. These are obviously pirates, and these pirates are arrogant, but they have a bounty of 2 billion, what kind of cattle are these hundreds of millions of bounties? Of course, Yuanj is also very hungry and speechless. These guys obviously don't agree with such a high bounty. However, these complain about what they are doing. This is a reward offered by the Navy. If you want to blame, you can blame the Navy. Although Yuanj was attacked by these guys, Yuanj was very happy at this time. Because among these people, there are quite a few devil fruit capable people. This also means that these guys are here to give themselves devil fruits, and they don't need to search for these devil fruits all over the world in the future. Yuanj, just keep your hands off the ground, and you'll die better. The crusade continued, and the scene was very noisy. Chopper and Usopp were terrified. Because they were surrounded by other pirates at this time. It was densely packed around. They had never seen such a big scene. It's over now. You guys will keep the boat safe from attack. Just leave these guys to the 3 of us. Not all cats and dogs can come and catch me. If people like this are going to die, then I'll give them a fight. Yuanj smiled at this time. For Yuanj, it was like searching for him thousands of times in the crowd, but that person was in the dim light. Uncle, don't worry, we will definitely protect the ship. Luffy said it very firmly at this time. Laosha, Hawkeye, let's go. Then, these people attacked those people. Seeing that this Yuanj is so bad, these people are not polite to them at this time. Kill. However, at this time, Crocodile rushed directly into the sea. This guy was also excited by such a scene. This guy also forgot that he was still a devil fruit ability user. Seeing such a scene, Yuanj also covered his forehead and didn't know what to say. He used the ability of fluttering fruit to get Laosha up. As for Yuanj and Hawkeye, they killed them. These people naturally saw Hawkeye and Crocodile. After seeing these 2 people, these pirates were also slightly surprised. Because these 2 are under the King's Chiwahai. They didn't expect these 2 guys to join Yuanj's pirate group. These pirates also know that the strength of the King's Chiwahai is very strong. But at this time, in their view, they are numerous and powerful. Because they have no fear at this time. Yuanj didn't use the ability of the Piao Piao fruit, he directly used the ability of the Momo fruit. At this time, he thought that the speed had doubled. At this time, he was simply floating on the water, and his speed was like a flash of lightning. Yuanj clenched the knife in his hand tightly at this time. This knife was borrowed from Sauron. Because Yuanj is not very accustomed to carrying a knife on Shen Hengmian. Those pirates showed no mercy to Yuan Singer at this time. They all went to Yuanj's bounty one by one. At this time, Yuanj naturally didn't show mercy, because these guys were going to kill him, so he naturally wouldn't show mercy. Of course, these guys aren't people either. They are all vicious pirates. Pirates are basically vicious, and as for some guys, they keep the kindness in his heart. Obviously, these people aren't the part that keeps kind-hearted hungry guys. Yuan Jie was so fast that it felt like it was disappearing. This made these guys very suspicious. But before they thought about it, their heads fell to the ground. They don't even know how their heads fell off. Seeing such a scene, other people also shouted at this time, "What are you still doing? Shoot at these guys." Although there are so many pirates, these pirates are unorganized, undisciplined, and completely scattered. The scene was once bloody. But Yuan Jie is not that kind of bloodthirsty person. At this time, he used the power of fusion fruit to directly fuse these ships of theirs. After Yuan Jie integrated these ships, Yuan Jie switched to Momo fruit again to multiply these ships. 30. The Fifth Sea Emperor. And then smashed at the guys who fell into the water. The resting ship that Yuan Jie was fused with was like a huge falling object at this time. It was very huge, covering the sky and the sun. After seeing such a scene, those pirates knew that it was no wonder that the other party had a bounty of 2 billion, and the other party's strength was really terrifying. After seeing such a guy who landed in the sky, these people did not dare to play the idea of Yuan Jie's bounty at this time. There was only one thought in their minds at this time, and that was to escape. Get out of this place quickly. Otherwise, they will sink into the sea with that behemoth. At this time, the scene no longer became bloody, but became very chaotic. One by one, these guys were howling, screaming, and running around. After Usopp saw the thing falling from the sky, Usopp was not too frightened. Because if that thing falls, they will be finished by then. However, at this moment, Yuan Jie returned with Hokage. Because Hokage's speed is fast, but it is very slow compared to Yuan Jie's speed. Therefore, Yuan Jie brought this guy back. Then Yuan Jie left this place quickly with their boat. When Crocodile saw such a scene, he seemed a little incredible at this time. Because this power is really too powerful. Crocodile was defeated by Luffy. Yuan Jie never fought against Crocodile. Although he saw Yuan Jie fighting Blackbeard, in Crocodile's view, the opponent was just a little pirate, and Yuan Jie won the opponent in this way. If you were yourself, you could easily win the other side. So, Crocodile didn't realize how powerfully Yuan Jie beat Blackbeard. Whoever called Blackbeard's bounty is a little pitiful. At this time, Yuan Jie quickly let their ship leave this place. This time he used the power of Momo fruit and Junjun fruit. Their ship is like a real rocket, and the speed is very fast. Of course, this speed is so fast that the ship is about to fall apart. At this moment, Yuan Jie kept thinking about that voice in his mind. Congratulations to the host for defeating. Congratulations to the host for getting. Yuan Jie's mind was like a buzzer, which made Yuan Jie feel very uncomfortable. But at this time, Yuan Jie was really happy in his heart. Because Yuan Jie has harvested dozens of devil fruits this time. He had never obtained so many devil fruits before. This is a big harvest for Yuan Jie all of a sudden, which also reduces Yuan Jie a lot of time to go to other places to find devil fruits. This battle is very fierce, but this is only for those pirates. For Yuan Jie, it felt like he had just moved his muscles and bones. Because those guys are arrogant one by one. These guys didn't even think about their own strength, and they dared to find trouble for themselves. In the end, the one who survived this battle was simply a blessing. Of course, there are very few such guys. Soon, this battle was spread by EPUB. After hearing such news, pirates and navies all over the world couldn't believe it. Because Yuan Jie's strength was so terrifying, he even defeated all the pirates that besieged them, and very few survived. For this battle, many people do not believe it, because in this battle, there are many pirates with over 100 million. But now these people are all dead. As for those who survived, they were also quite frightened. There was even a shadow in their hearts. Because for that battle, they seemed a little powerless, and even if their companions died in front of them, they were powerless to save them. In the face of the enemy, they are even more powerless to fight back. Because there are not many people who survived, everyone still doesn't believe in such a thing. Therefore, many people started to investigate. But those people really don't exist anymore. Therefore, this one thing feels like a legend to these people. Because the credibility of this matter is not very high, these guys' crusade against Yuanj is still not over. Yuanj had just harvested a wave of devil fruits, but he didn't expect another wave of people to die. At this time, he has been a good person again, and he has fully satisfied the wishes of these guys. Seeing the enthusiasm of these people, Yuanj was waiting for the arrival of those pirates in Gaia at this time. Because others rushed to give him the devil fruit, he naturally had to accept it. In this way, Yuanj and the others have harvested a lot of devil fruits here, and there are more than 100 devil fruits. The other people are not fools. After these people were wiped out, they had to believe in Yuanj's strength. One person can kill so many people, and the strong ones are very terrifying. Luo looked at Yuanji's reward at this time, and he was also very depressed at this time. Because such a powerful guy should not appear in the new world, why did he appear in the new route? This made them supernovae completely unnoticed by the Navy. Now his bounty is not over 100 million. Kira was very arrogant when he saw such a guy, because he didn't take Yuanj into his eyes. He was a very arrogant guy. As for the other pirate groups, this time is not much better. Because Yuanj's light is too bright, their light was blocked by Yuanj. As for the Admiralty, they had to hold an emergency meeting later. Yuanji's bounty was once again raised to 2.5 billion Bailey. It wasn't this that shocked the others. What shocked them was that the Navy actually admitted Yuanj and his group's status on the sea. A new sea emperor was born at this time. You know, the Emperor of the Sea is the strongest existence under One Piece. They didn't expect that this guy named Yuanj was so fierce. How long has it been? This guy has known each other for less than a month, and now he has made great progress all the way, and just like this, he has become a little sea emperor. This made them just a little bit in disbelief. Those pirates were deeply jealous of Yuanj, especially those pirates who just came out. Of course, many of them see Yuanj as their role model. Because of this newcomer, in such a short period of time, he actually became a sea emperor. As for the pirates on the new route, they were extremely depressed at this time. Why did such a powerful presence appear on the new route? After Yuanj was determined to be the emperor of the sea, no pirates came to him. This made Yuanj hate the Navy very much. 31. The purpose of coming to the Sky Island. Because the other party is doing this, this is clearly cutting off his own fortune. After confirming his sea emperor, other people dared not do anything to him at this time. Because the strength of the other party is very terrifying, to find the other party by yourself, it is simply to die. Of course, all of this is indispensable for pirates to get in the way. The Navy instigated in the middle, because they wanted to take advantage of the fishermen. Yuanj killed so many pirates, which undoubtedly removed a lot of scourges for them. This is undoubtedly what the Navy wants to see. Of course, the leader of the Navy is also an old fox, and he will accept it as soon as he sees it. If it continues like this, then their Navy may not be able to control it. If it gets out of control at that time, these navies have no intention of playing with fire and setting themselves on fire. Because Yuanj's bounty is so high, it is because Yuanj hurt the Navy colonel, and Yuanj also defeated the Navy admiral and subdued Wang Xiaqiuhai. This is the other side's record, but all this was concealed by the Navy. Therefore, it has nothing to do with their Navy on time. If those pirates know this, it is very likely to cause a riot of pirates in the world. This is something the Navy definitely doesn't want to see. Yuanj and the others found Kulakai behind them, and then they went to the empty island. Because Yuanj and the others can fly directly, there is no need for the so-called submarine jets at all. In order to thank Kulakai, Yuanj also invited this guy to the empty island. Seeing this, Kulakai was very excited. Especially after Kulikai knew that Yuanj could fly. And just like that, they set off from the island. As for the outside round of Yuanj, it is still unabated. Because the opponent is only the fastest guy to become the Emperor of the Sea. As for the Navy, they are investigating Yuanj's identity. Because the opponent's such powerful strength is not cultivated in one day. So they started an investigation into Yuanj's identity. Yuanj is not very famous, but this guy is an excellent winemaker. The Navy also found out the identity of Yuanj through clues. They were stunned to discover that this Yuanj used to be a winemaker on the One Piece ship. This is how these guys never thought. Because they never thought that this guy didn't even have a bounty on Roger's boat before. But I didn't expect this guy to be so powerful now. Although Shanks and Bucky the Clown have both been on Roger's boat before, they are only interns. But this Yuanj turned out to be a crew member on the One Piece ship. For this guy with terrifying power, these navies started all kinds of speculations. Some people think that the other party is the great enemy left by One Piece to the Navy. Some people also think that Roger wants to make his crew One Piece king. For Yuanj's guesses, these guys are all sorts of things. If Ebi Yuanj knew about it, he would probably have laughed out loud. Because I used to live to survive, because I have the ability to terrify. As for now, that's because Yuanj wants to go back, it's just that simple. It's not as complicated as these people think. Of course, these navies also discovered the clues of this Yuan song. Although Yuanj's identity was known to everyone, the curse of Roger's pirate ship was gradually revealed. All this is caused by Yuanj. But they still don't understand why. Therefore, at this time, they were very concerned about Yuanj at that time. Bucky never thought that this Yuan song was so powerful. Captain Bucky, your brother Yuanj is now one of the 5 emperors, and Shanks seems to be one of the 5 emperors. Captain Bucky, you are not saying that you are more powerful than that Yuanj, Captain Bucky, that you should also have the strength of that emperor. Hearing this, Bucky didn't know what to say at this time. Because whoever calls this guy is saying that he is more powerful than Yuanj. Now this guy can't hold his face a little bit. Damn it, this Yuanj is so powerful, how come I didn't find it before, and that guy didn't dare to fight with me before, I didn't expect this guy to be so powerful now. Bucky also complained at this time. Next time you meet that kid, be sure to ask about it. Whitebeard and Shanks were very happy that Yuanj became the 5th Sea Emperor. The relationship between Shanks and Yuanj is very good. As for Whitebeard, he likes the wine made by Yuanj very much. Ant and Kaido were very unhappy at this time. They originally thought that Yuanj was just a clown who jumped on the beam. In the eyes of Kaido and Ant, although the other party's bounty is over 100 million, they haven't paid attention to it yet. Because their bounty is billions, and those hundreds of millions are nothing to them. But they never thought that this guy would become the 5th Sea Emperor in such a short time. This is simply too fast. Yuanj becomes the 5 emperors, and their sphere of influence will be violated at that time. You must know that their sea emperors control a large area. As for Yuanj and the others, they soon came to the empty island. When looking at this empty island, Yuanj felt a little unbelievable. This will be an empty island. Although Yuanj was on the ship of One Piece Roger, Yuanj was Roger's pirate ship on the way. This empty island was the first time for Yuanj. When Luffy and the others saw such a scene, they wanted to play on the cloud one by one. As for Hawkeye and Crocodile, their eyes widened at this time, because they didn't think that this was only a legendary empty island, but it really existed. This is the legendary empty island. Obviously, this crocodile felt like he was dreaming. Seeing this, Yuanj said angrily, "Look at you. You look like you've never seen the world." Yuanj couldn't help but complain about this crocodile at this time. Looking at Crocodile, Yuanj had such an idea at this time. If this guy is really a woman, I don't know what this guy looks like. Yuanj secretly thought in his heart at this time. What are our plans to come to this empty island just now? Hawkeye felt that Yuanji's purpose in coming to this empty island was very not simple. Hawkeye is the guy who knows that Yuanj has that secret. 32. Drive away the golden ship. Of course you will know then. Yuanji didn't talk too much to the other party at this time. Boy, how can you be so sure that there must be an empty island here? Crocodile asked, a little puzzled. Yuanji was very uncomfortable listening to the other person's name. Crocodile was still very resentful towards Yuanj. If there is no such a sleeping star as Yuanj, then his previous plan can be realized, and then he can build a country of his own. But now he has been threatened by the other party to be his subordinate. You know, Uncle used to be a crew member on the One Piece ship. Maybe the other party has come to this empty island. At this time Usopp said. Hearing this, Crocodile was also slightly taken aback at this time, because he did not expect that the guy in front of him turned out to be a crew member on the One Piece ship. The other party has such a strong strength that it makes sense. Shanks is just an intern on the One Piece ship, and that guy is so powerful. Uncle, has Roger the Pirate King ever been to this empty island? Luffy is also very curious about what happened to Roger. They have been to the Sky Island before, but they were not on the ship at that time. Therefore, I have not been to the Sky Island. I just heard them mention it. Yuanji did come up from behind, but he had never been to this empty island. Although he has never been here, he is very familiar with this empty island. I also made a quick decision, grabbed the devil fruit of that guy from Analu, and found that golden ship. Yuanji's purpose for coming to Sky Island this time was very simple. At this moment, Yuanji suddenly thought of something. That is, there is still a god living on the moon. Analu came from that place. It seems that the time will come to arrest that Analu, and then the time will be to ask about the things on the moon. Yuanji did not plan to go to the moon at this time. Because his main task is to collect devil fruits, if there is no devil fruit on the moon, it would be a waste of time for Yuanji. Part of the reason is that Yuanji doesn't know much about the moon.